The biggest regular season game of the year for your 2024 San Luis Obispo Blues, and really every year dating back over 2 decades. Fireworks Night, a day before we celebrate the independence of the United States on July 3rd at Sinsheimer Stadium. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. My name is Nate Mills, joined alongside by Mark Robinson, as always. Good to have you back in the booth. We had you reunited with me in last game, and that was great. And so now, we can get right back on the same page where we left off as we get you set to celebrate the 4th of July and hopefully a win for the SLO Blues on the SLO Blues streaming network. They're hosting the Santa Barbara Foresters here at Sinsheimer Stadium.
Absolutely. It is never too early to start celebrating an awesome holiday like the 4th of July. We're a day early, but we've got an amazing game, amazing matchup in the CCL tonight, followed by an even better fireworks show. I am so excited for the fireworks tonight. Probably one of the coolest things about interning for the Blues is getting to see something like that after every game. Or not every game, but after the games that we have fireworks.
Well, and our general manager, Adam Stowe, told us in our post-game, if you will, meeting last night that the funds allocated toward tonight's show are more than the other 2 shows combined. And that makes me really excited for what's in store tonight. I mean, if the shows that aren't on July 3rd looked like the way they did, I can only imagine what it's going to look like tonight. It's going to be lots of fun here on the SLO Blues streaming network. And if you couldn't make it out to today's game, so we'll show you the fireworks after the contest is over. We'll turn on the music and we'll point it towards the sky, so it's like you guys are actually here. It's expected to be over a packed-out night for the Blues because Sinsheimer holds 1,800, give or take. We're expecting about 2,200 to 2,300, so there's going to be some standing around.
And you can already see how packed this stadium is. It is absolutely ridiculous how many people there are. And we get here, 2.5 hours early. There was 30, 40 people camped at the gate waiting to come in. Hour and a half, 2 hours before first pitch. And we opened the gates 30 minutes earlier than usual today. It's going to be a special night here at Sinsheimer Stadium. I have to walk all the way back to the very, very back of the scoreboard to set up a camera. And the firework people are getting very geared up. They are unloading loads and loads.
Already?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
They are getting dialed in. And, you should see some of those rigs. It is ridiculous how big they are.
Fireworks aren't even, they're not even until 4 hours from now, and they're getting it going now. That's
like we
insane.
said, this is the big one here.
Yeah, it really is. And Blues are looking to make a bang against the Santa Barbara Foresters today. They're currently 1-3 against their rivals from down south after a very disappointing loss just a few days ago. Just before we turned the calendar over to July on June 30th. They suffered a 5-4 loss to Santa Barbara in extra innings in the 10th inning. Base running miscues galore. Parker Goff, rounding second base, was hit by a ground ball put in play by Sam Ardois, and that ended the inning. The run was certainly going to score. The ball was destined to land into the outfield, and so a base running miscue there, that was one thing. Then they eventually tied up the game, and we were in the bottom of the 10th inning. The Blues had the inherited runner at second base. Ball was put in the play, back to the pitcher. They turned to second. The inherited runner in Gavin Constantine was caught in the middle. Not a crazy mistake. Certainly something you would not like to have happen if you're the Blues. Not the smartest of base running plays, but it happens, And so he was in a rundown between second and third, and while that was going on, Sam Ardois took off towards second base, and he was out by a mile, and that was a double play. The last thing you would have want happen in that situation, and it happened to the Blues, and they ended up dropping that one to Santa Barbara 5-4. They look for redemption tonight under the lights.
Yes, absolutely. I was unfortunately not able to be in attendance for that most recent game against the Foresters, but it sounds like once again it comes down to just making sure that we're getting those errors taken away and we're playing smart baseball. And playing smart baseball means running the bases with thinking about it correctly in your head and doing that, which is those little things is what's going to kill you. Hitting the rewind button just a little bit more, just to look at the whole scope of our season against the Foresters so far. The first game we played against them was at home here, Sinsheimer Stadium. We unfortunately fell to them 0-2 and then immediately traveled down south to play them in Santa Barbara. Exact same score, lost to them 0-2 again. And then we did bounce back one more time in Santa Barbara, taking a 9-2 win. It's kind of weird to think about how the 3 games we've lost against them have been 1 to 2 run losses, one of them in extra innings. And then the one time we won, we just absolutely annihilated them.
SLO is always keeping it close with a rivalry game in Santa Barbara. You know, the adrenaline is heightened. The competition is that much more when you're playing your CCL rival from down south, and there's tons of tradition between these two teams. I talked about it in the opening as well. I mean, we've had firework games here on July 3rd against Santa Barbara for over 25 years. So they're trying to keep that tradition alive here, and they've been doing so throughout the season. But really, Mark, you talk about the errors, and for Santa Barbara in the game against Santa Barbara, it was base running that one time. They hadn't had a lot of base running miscues throughout this summer, and it turned into that. I mean, the Blues only had one error defensively that night against Santa Barbara when they lost 5-4, so they were able to tighten it up on that end. But then where you fill up, one thing goes and you sacrifice it for the base running miscues, I guess. The errors were back in play for the Blues last night. They had a couple of throwing errors that costed them a few runs in their huge loss to the OC Riptide. They're trying to recover from that 13-4 against Orange County. So they're really trying to get back into shape, especially if they lose tonight. They're right back on a 3-game losing streak. That's where they were before they won 2 in a row against the Alameda Merchants. So there's a few things at stake in tonight's game against the Foresters.
Absolutely. You know these guys are on their redemption run tonight. There's a fireworks show after the game. They've lost 2 straight to this team. You know they want to win tonight, and they want to enjoy those fireworks and celebrate this awesome holiday with a win under their belt. So we're hoping to see the Blues take the win tonight. Nate, there's one more thing I want to talk about in today's pregame show before we wrap things up and get ready for this ball game. There is some very big breaking news about a very notable San Luis Obispo Blues alumni. Listen to this. A Central Coast local, a Cal Poly baseball alumni, the 8th overall pick in the 2022 Major League Baseball draft, Brooks Lee is making his Major League debut for the Minnesota Twins as we speak.
Matter of fact, he's already had his first at-bat. Didn't pick the bat off of his shoulders once. And I don't blame him, man. I mean, they gave him a standing ovation when he came out to the batter's box. And if I was him, I mean, I'd be thumping like a bunny rabbit in my chest, man.
Oh, absolutely.
He watched, I think it was a 5 or 6 pitch at bat. Took a couple of deep breaths as he looked at his bat, digging back in the batter's box. But just a fantastic moment, especially for us here in the press box. We all crowded around this very computer to watch that at bat that Brooks Lee had for the Twins. They're currently playing the Detroit Tigers right now in Minnesota. We will give you updates throughout the broadcast. This is big news. I mean, the 8th overall draft pick from SLO High School and from Cal Poly and from the Blues, obviously, making his Major League debut. So we'll definitely keep you in touch with that throughout the show, throughout the broadcast, excuse me. But yeah, absolutely, Mark. It's very notable that today's day.
Such an awesome moment for him. This season in the AAA, playing under the Twins, he's batting a .329 and has 7 home runs on the season, which is amazing numbers. And I mean, we saw him play at Cal Poly, and he would put up very similar numbers batting. Just a switch hitter, absolutely pipes the ball. Such a good player. I'm really excited to see him not only play tonight, but hopefully stay in the majors for the next couple games, especially next Tuesday's game as he faces the Chicago White Sox, who has pitcher Drew Thorpe starting, one of his teammates at Cal Poly, and I know they're very close friends. They're constantly posting things on their Instagram stories about each other, congratulating and supporting each other. That would be the most electric thing to see. Drew Thorpe pitch against Brooks Lee. That would be so awesome.
I know all the Cal Poly alums and this alumni in this press box are going to be huddled around that computer for that one. And here's a connection to tonight's game with Drew Thorpe. Drew Thorpe and tonight's starting pitcher for the Santa Barbara Foresters grew up in the same town of St. George, Utah. So there's kind of your grab there for tonight's game. But yeah, absolutely. The San Luis Obispo representing in the major leagues, a very cool moment on July 3rd for the Minnesota Twins and for the SLO Blues, really.
Absolutely. All of the San Luis Obispo Blues fans, interns, managers, players are sending Brooks an utmost congratulations. That is one of the biggest. He will never forget that moment. Standing ovation, walking out to his first major league at-bat. I mean, it gave me the chills up here listening to that ovation. That was awesome. We're all sending you a big congratulations if you do ever hear this.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Brooks. And with that, I think we're going to send it back down to the field as we get you set for this game against the Foresters Blues versus SB. It's number 28 on the year for San Luis Obispo. We'll be back for first pitch for Mark Robinson. Oh, wait.
We cannot forget the handshake.
We cannot
forget the handshake.
That one's on me,
That's
guys.
a pregame tradition right there.
As always, thank you for joining me back in the booth. Stay with us on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. First pitch, just over 10 minutes away.
see some extra people walking out to the home plate area with our head coach, Dean Trainer. These are umpire assistants, and it is their birthdays. It is Benny Riley and Liam Rondo. I'm here to meet the umpires and the other coaches. Handshakes all around. Sweeping off the plate. Happy birthday to Benny and Liam. I think we ought to get Dean Trainer in one of those outfits. Hey, Dean, would you, maybe Dean could wear one of those hats. Yeah, better not push that too far. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the principal of the San Luis Obispo Blues to foster a family-friendly atmosphere, allowing for the continuing growth of a quality baseball experience here on the Central Coast. To that end, spectators are asked to support their team in a positive manner and treat opposing fans and players with respect. Profanity, racial slurs, or otherwise unruly behavior will not be tolerated, and violators will be removed from the facility. We thank you in advance for your cooperation. Blues are excited to welcome Guaranteed Rate as our fireworks show sponsor tonight. They're also our free foul ball sponsor. And here to throw out the first pitch for Guaranteed Rate is the Guaranteed Rate branch manager, Don Lewis. Appreciate them sponsoring our foul balls tonight and our fireworks show, which comes up at the end of the game. Okay, Donnie, you don't need to stand on the rubber if you don't want to. You can. All right, here we go. Fire away. Thank you, Donna, and thank you to Guaranteed Rate. Here is the starting lineup for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Leading off will be number 11, Caden Peterson. Then number 37, Jonah Sebring. Then number 7, Will Rogers. The fourth batter tonight for the Foresters is number 18, Jack Holman. Then it's number 3, Nolan Susan. Followed by number 5, TJ Pompey. Batting in the 7th slot, number 33, Johnny Rodriguez. And number 17, Ryan Taman. Batting 9th for Santa Barbara tonight, number 8, pitcher for the Foresters wearing number 40, Peyton Butler. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your San Luis Obispo Blues. Leading off, it's number 9, the second baseman, Braden Jeffries. He's followed by number 35, the center fielder, Jariah Lewis. Batting third, number 47, the left fielder, Cooper Witten. And in the cleanup spot, number 12, the first baseman, Casey Horvath. Batting fifth tonight for the Blues, number 41, the catcher, Nico Button. He's followed up by number 10, the third baseman, Brendan Comerford. Batting in the seventh position, the designated hitter wearing number 2, Giovanni Blanchette. Batting eighth tonight for San Luis Obispo, number 20, the shortstop, Jared Medham. Rounding out the lineup, batting ninth, number 5, the right fielder, Jake Hixenbaugh. Starting pitcher for today is the right-hander from Fresno State, number 29, Logan Groff. Blues are led by Dean Trainer. He is assisted by Brian Trainer, Renee Regalano, Mason Alex, Max over Robbie Lardner, and Jared Money. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would ask you to please stand for our national anthem, which is being sung tonight by Bradley Kiker. And if you would please stand and remove your caps. Bradley?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Bradley. Bradley is doing the national anthem. All right, let's take a look at the defensive lineup for the Blues. Starting in left field, it's Cooper Witten.
Back on the field to celebrate the independence of the United States a day early on July 3rd, a fireworks night here at Sinsheimer Stadium as the San Luis Obispo Blues host the Santa Barbara Foresters for the fourth time this year on the SLO Blues streaming network. Hello, everyone, and welcome back inside the booth. My name is Nate Mills, calling the balls, strikes, and much more this evening for your Blues, with Ryan Giacomini joining me in the fourth inning of this ball game. Let's get you set up for tonight's starting lineups for both teams. Let's look at the defensive alignments for the Blues first. Behind the dish, it's Nico Button, Casey Borba over at first, Braden Jeffries at second, Brendan Comerford at third, Jared Medham at shortstop. Outfield left to right is Cooper Witten, Jariah Lewis, and Jake Hixenbaugh, with Gio Blanchette doing the designated hitting. And on the mound for your Blues, it's the right-hander from Fresno State University, Logan Groff. Groff, this is his third start of the season, his fourth start of the season. Last time he was out there, he was in Walnut Creek to face the Crawdads on June 25th, and he looked pretty good out there. 6 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 8 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 27 batters faced. I mean, the bullpen came in later that game and gave up a plethora of runs in a fateful 7th inning. It was a 20-8 defeat against Walnut Creek, but Groff certainly has the stuff to get to retire these Foresters hitters, but they certainly have a talented lineup going out there today. Here are batters 1 through 9 for Santa Barbara. Leading off, it's Caden Peterson, Jonas Sebring second, Will Rogers third. Cleaning it up, it's Jack Holman, who's currently batting .500 on the season. Fifth, it's Nolan Souza. Sixth, TJ Pompey. Johnny Rodriguez batting seventh. Ryan Taman eighth. And rounding it out in the ninth spot, it's Daniel Patterson, the third baseman from Westmont College. Already a packed night here at Sinsheimer. Fans were lining up to enter through the gates more than 2 hours before first pitch. They had their lawn chairs lining up in front of the entrances, and now they're finally in at the stadium. The grass concourse is completely full. I don't see a single speck of grass out there except for the walkways, as Logan Groff comes set on the first offering at 6:07 p.m. There's the first pitch, and it's in there for a strike. Weather at first pitch, it's 77 degrees and sunny. As a fastball misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Caden Peterson leads it off. He's the right fielder for Santa Barbara. As he swings and hits this on the ground, left side, diving is met him. He gets up on his 3, throws it over to Borba. Not in time, an infield base hit for Caden Peterson, and there goes the no-hitter from Logan Groff. Nice speed from Caden Peterson, but an even better effort from Jared Medham at short to dive for that ball that was destined to leak into shallow left center field. That's just a tough play to make, to get up on your hands and try to make the throw. It was a one-hopper over to the first baseman, Borba, but Caden Peterson beat that throw out, as now the 2-hole hitter Jonas Sebring steps in. The UC Santa Barbara Gaucho coming back to Isla Vista for his final season of college baseball next year. As Groff kicks and deals and misses up and inside on a fastball, 1 ball, no strikes. Sebring is the center fielder for the Foresters, and on the season in league games, he's 16 for 43 with a .372 batting average, 2 home runs and 2 doubles. As the 1-0, he's late on it, and he fouls it up and into the stands. 1 ball and 1 strike. A flock of fans converging onto that foul ball that almost left the stadium. And it's a 1 ball and 1 strike to Sebring. Big lead at first base for Caden Peterson. As Groff comes set, now picks over to first. Doesn't slide back. He gets there on his feet, but in time. Still 1 ball and 1 strike. This is the Blues' 28th game of the season, their 18th conference matchup against the Foresters. As another pick back to first, and this time diving is Peterson. He's back again safely as Sebring waits his third offering from Groff. Middle infield pinching up the middle. Comerford on the line a bit at third. Hicksonbaugh hugging the line in left field as well. Center fielder Jariah Lewis shaded to his left as Sebring gets hit in the back of the head. Jonah was showing bunt, and the pitch from Logan Groff was up and in. Took him in the back of the head as he was rolling out of the way of that one. He immediately throws off the helmet and gives the gear to manager Bill Pintard as he appears to be okay. Taking a few steps towards first and reapplying the helmet back to his head. The 2 trainers for the Blues out there to have a conversation with him. He waves them off. So now back-to-back base runners here in the first inning. So after Sebring is hit by pitch, that's 2 base runners in a row for the Foresters. And now it's the Michigan Wolverine batting third, Will Rogers. That's the first time that the Blues have seen Rogers in the batter's box. Typically, he's been pitching in relief against San Luis Obispo, and you still can't rule that out. Still a very high chance that Rogers could come in and close this game against San Luis Obispo after starting in left field for the Foresters. So now the corners are in with a runner on second and 1 at first with no one out, and Rogers takes a look at strike 1 from Groff. The 2-way player from Michigan in 7 games has 22 at-bats, 7 runs, one of them for extra bases. It's a triple, a .318 batting average. At Michigan, he hit .256 and his 156 at-bats, 40 hits, 8 home runs, a triple, and 6 doubles. Down, no balls and 2 strikes to the Bulldog from Fresno State, Logan Groff, as the middle infield pinches and the corners stay in. Short lead on both bags. They both take off, and Will Rogers swings and misses at the fastball upstairs. The throw down to second to get Sebring is not in time. Nice jump from both of the runners, but there's the first K and the first out of the inning to Rogers.
Get your bottle of SLO heat from Bonton Creole Cafe. 3164. Now batting number 18, Jack Coleman.
So after that strikeout from Will Rogers, I am very pleased to announce that former Blue and first-round draft pick Brooks Lee has just recorded his first major league base hit, a ground ball up the middle for the Minnesota Twins. What a moment here for Blues fans. As taking strike one is Jack Holman, the DH, batting left-handed. Congratulations to Brooks. He's now 1 for 2 on the day after his first knock in the major leagues. Infield playing back, corners in. Ball gets away from Button, and holding up at third base was Peterson. 1 ball and 1 strike. I thought that got a clip or a bit of jersey from Jack Holman, but he stays in there. 1-1 to the left-hander. 1 gone, 2 runners in scoring position for the Foresters. Top of the first inning, we just got things going here at Sinsheimer on the July 3rd game, the infamous July 3rd game here. Some fireworks after tonight as the 1-1 is dribbled on the right side. Jeffries has got it on the big hop throw to first. A run comes in to score. An RBI ground out for Jack Holman. Foresters strike first. Two gone in the first, but Caden Peterson comes in to score from third base. Jonas Sebring advances to third. He's the only runner on now for Nolan Souza, the second baseman batting left-handed and hitting fifth for Santa Barbara. Souza this season for Santa Barbara in league games is 8 of 34 with his .235 batting average. 3 extra base hits, all of them doubles, as the fastball just misses inside. 1 ball, no strikes from Logan Groff. Like I said, this is Groff's 4th start of the season for the Blues and his 5th appearance. 16 innings pitched entering today's game, 12 hits, 18 strikeouts. As there's 1 strike to Souza, 1-1 to the lefty from Arkansas. Groff just collected number 19 on the summer and the first out of this inning on Will Rogers. Strides and shoots on the 1-1, and this one's hitting the air out to left field. Going back is Witten. He was playing really shallow on Souza. He looks up, and that one's gone. Nolan Souza goes the opposite way and gives 2 more runs to the Foresters on the 2-run bomb here in the first. Three to 0 Santa Barbara as Souza is met with a wave of boos heading back into the dugout. He showcased some pretty impressive power there, hitting it the opposite way with ease. That's his first home run of the summer. He had 7 on the year with the Razorbacks. Hit 100 miles an hour off the wood bat over Cooper Witten's head. As swinging and missing at that fastball first pitch is TJ Pompey with 2 gone here in the first. Pompey, the shortstop, batting 6th for Santa Barbara. A Red Raider from Texas Tech, hitting .302 on the summer for the Foresters. As that fastball misses up and outside from Groff. 1-1 now to the Coppell, Texas native. And Nolan Souza just made that look easy. Looks like he just poked it the other way. Did not think it had a chance to get out. I thought it was going to 2-hop the wall. Cooper Witten was playing very shallow on him. He had to just put his head down and just book it straight towards the fence. And it didn't matter, as all he could do was just watch it fly out of the yard. 3-run first inning for Santa Barbara, as the single and the walk from Groff to begin this inning have both come around to score off the Souza homer, as that one misses high and tight to Pompey. 3 balls and 1 strike. Santa Barbara currently riding a 7-game win streak. That includes 2 non-league games against the California Halos and the San Diego Bombers, as there's ball 4 to Pompey. And the rally continues for Santa Barbara after the home run from Nolan Souza, a 2-out runner for Johnny Rodriguez, the 7-hitter batting left-handed. Rodriguez is a dirtbag from Long Beach State and a native from Fullerton, California, who's batting .225 on the year for the Sturs. 9 hits, 2 of them for extra bases. They're both doubles. 6 runs batted in, 9 strikeouts to his 2 walks. Short lead over at first from Pompey as the pick gets away, and Casey Borba jogs to it. Now Jeffries makes the long run. Rounding second is Pompey. He's now at third. Errant throw from Logan Groff, and that's 180 feet for free to TJ Pompey. Now another runner in scoring position, just 90 feet away for the Sturs. Blues just picking up where they left off from last night. A catastrophic 13-4 loss against their CCL South foe in the OC Riptide. The errors just continue to plague the Blues this season as that fastball misses up and out to Johnny Rodriguez. The first pitch he sees this at-bat. The pitching just continuing to haunt the Blues today as well. 2 walks and 2 hits, one of them a home run, as this one's bounding down the first base line, but it's foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to Rodriguez. So in their last game against the Blues on June 30th, in that 5-4 extra innings victory, Rodriguez went 1 for 5, had 4 strikeouts. Here's the 1-1 to the dirtbag from Logan Groff. It's a fastball missing upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. Waiting on deck, it's former Blue Ryan Taman wearing the shin guards with 2 outs and a runner on third. Foresters lead 3-0 over the Blues in the first inning, as waving in that fastball upstairs is Rodriguez for strike 2. Deuces wild to Logan Groff. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 hits in this inning. Middle infield playing back, staying away from the center of the diamond as that fastball is taken for strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Logan Groff, but the damage has been done. A 2-run home run for Nolan Souza. And a pass ball brings in 3 runs for the Sturs. They strike first. It's 3-0 Santa Barbara. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Less than ideal start for the Blues in the top half of the first. They allow 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and they leave a runner on base. The highlight of that inning was the Nolan Souza 2-run home run to left field. The left-handed batter poking it the opposite way over the head of Cooper Witten. It's now 3-0 Foresters, as leading off for the Blues in this inning, it's Braden Jeffries, the second baseman, batting left-handed. Tonight's order for the Blues, Jariah Lewis on deck, Cooper Witten batting third, Casey Borba cleaning it up, Nico Button batting fifth, Brendan Comerford sixth, Giovanni Blanchette batting seventh, Jaron Medham eighth, and rounding it out in the ninth spot, it's Jake Hicksonbaugh for the Blues. On the mound for the Foresters, it's Peyton Gubler, and his defense around him. The catcher is Ryan Taman, former Blue, Johnny Rodriguez over at first, Nolan Souza at second, Daniel Patterson at third, TJ Pompey at short. Outfield left to right is Rogers, Sebring, and Peterson, with Holman doing the designated hitting. Jeffries looks at that second offering downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike to the left-hander committed to the University of Michigan. Jeffries on the season, a home run, 2 doubles, and 21 hits. This is only his 11th start as he dribbles that one on the right side. Souza's got it. Easy throw over to first for the first out of the inning. Jeffries grounds out to second, and now it's Jariah Lewis, tonight's center fielder for the Blues, batting second on July 3rd. And so Jariah actually played in last year's firework game against the Foresters at Sinsheimer Stadium. In that time, he batted 8th. He was 1 for 4 with a strikeout that evening. Blues fell to Santa Barbara that night by a score of 2-0. And they're looking to change that around here as Lewis pokes that one up and over the Foresters' bullpen. No balls and 1 strike. Jariah batting .207 on the year. 3 triples, 1 double in 12 hits and 58 at-bats. Second on the team in runs scored with 13. As he swings and misses at that changeup downstairs. No balls and 2 strikes. Peyton Gubler, tonight's starter from BYU. Former teammate of Braden Mondew and current teammate of the catcher Parker Goff, who's getting the night off tonight. As that offering misses high and outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lewis digs back in on the 1-2 offering against Gubler. From the windup, here it is, another fastball missing outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is Gubler's second start of the season. As the 2-2 comes in, and it's a strike 3 looking for Jariah Lewis. J. Lou goes down for the second out of the inning, and that's the 11th time he's struck out this season. 2 gone for Cooper Witten. Witten, tonight's left fielder from San Diego and a Husky from the University of Washington. He's seeing the ball pretty well. Talked to him at batting practice. He has been slugging out of his mind. And as a right-handed hitter, he actually says that hitting a fly ball the opposite way in the right center gap felt better than his home run to left field. And as a former, or I guess I am still a current right-handed hitter myself, completely understand that feeling. And when you're getting in that kind of groove, and a hitter like him, that's how you know you're seeing it well and you're barreling it even better as he's up 2-0 against Gubler. Witten on the season only has 25 at-bats, 7 hits in that time. 4 of them for extra bases, 2 triples, a home run, and a double. As he spits on the 2-0, but it's in there for strike 1. Witten, a .280 batting average in his small sample size with the Blues. This is his 8th start for San Luis Obispo this year. 3 runs batted in as the 2-1 misses way outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Hugging the line is Patterson at third. Outfield at regular depth. 3-1, he holds up his swing. They appeal to first. He didn't go around, and that's ball 4 to Cooper Witten. That's Witten's 6th walk of the season and a 2-out base runner for the Blues. Scratching and clawing for any signs of life here in the first after already trailing to the Foresters 3-0. So now it's Casey Borba, tonight's first baseman for San Luis Obispo, digging into the back of the right-handed batter's box. He gets the start tonight at first after playing on the complete opposite side of the infield at third base. Batted cleanup last night, and he bats cleanup again here as the throw back to first is not in time to get Cooper Witten. Borba this season batting an even 200 in his 40 at-bats. He has 8 hits, 4 of them for extra bases, 2 doubles, and 2 home runs. As Witten takes off towards second base, the throw down is not in time. The slide, he did stay on. A stolen bag for Cooper Witten. That's his 4th of the season. Witten got a real nice jump taken off towards second base to get his 4th stolen bag, and with his lengthy strides, he covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. The only question on that play was if he slid over the bag far enough to where the tag from Souza caught him where he was on a gap between him and the bag. He didn't, and now there's a runner in scoring position for Casey Borba. 1-1 is sent softly up in the air and over the Blues bullpen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Borba in last night's contest went hitless. He was 0 for 4, 3 groundouts and a pop out to the shortstop. Goober looks at second twice, now kicks and deals on the 1-1, and Borba swings and misses that curveball inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the Texas Longhorn that is staying faithful with all their coaching changes just a few days ago, essentially fleecing the entire Texas A&M staff, the runner-ups in the College Baseball World Series. Borba will return back to Austin next season to play for the Longhorns. As he holds up his swing on the slider on the 1-2, he didn't go around. That evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Would be a nice moment here for the Blues to collect an RBI off a Casey Borba base hit and have an answer for these Foresters early. Because once the Santa Barbara Foresters smell blood, they'll just keep attacking. It's up to the Blues to stop the bleeding as he waves at the slider underneath his barrel for strike 3. Second strikeout of the game for Gubler. That's the second of the inning as well. The side is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. Cooper Witten at second. 3-0 Santa Barbara. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Eight 9-1 due up for the Santa Barbara Foresters as they lead the Blues heading to the second inning 3-0. And there's strike 1 to the leadoff man, Ryan Taman, the former Blue, now turned to the rivals down south, and a Golden Bear from Cal Berkeley stepping up for the first time today. As Groff kicks and deals on the 0-1, and Taman goes the opposite way in the air. Hicksonbaugh has to take a few steps to his left and grabs it for the first out of the inning. Quick first out here for Logan Groff after surrendering 3 runs last inning. A 2-run shot from Nolan Souza and a pass ball to bring around Caden Peterson. So now it's Daniel Patterson, no relation, the third baseman batting 9th for Santa Barbara. He played in this game this time last year for the Foresters as well. And he hit leadoff for the Sturs as he shows bunt here, pulls it back, 1 ball, no strikes. He hit leadoff and he went 1 for 5 with a double and 2 strikeouts in their 2-0 victory over San Luis Obispo. Huge gap up the middle in the infield as Comerford is creeping up on the infield grass, and there's ball 2 to Patterson. Third baseman and home run champion from Westmont College, recording a single season record high of 18 bombs for the Warriors this past season. As the 2-0 is in there for strike 1. He doesn't have any home runs this season for Santa Barbara for the Foresters, but he does have 9 hits and 43 at-bats for a .209 batting average. As the 2-1 and an off-speed in there for a strike. Logan Groff comes back after 2 straight balls and evens it up at 2-2. Groff already has 2 Ks on the day in search of number 3, as that one's taken for strike 3. K number Trey for Logan Groff, and that's the 6th of the season for Daniel Patterson. 2 gons here in the second. Nice quick 2 outs here for Groff. Refreshing sight for the Blues and really for the right-hander to get those 2 quick ones after allowing all those runs. So Caden Peterson, the leadoff man, digs in now. Santa Barbara has gone through the lineup once already as he chops this one to the left side. Medham's got it. Throwing the run to first is a little tall, but Borba stretches it and grabs it for the 3rd out of the inning. 3 up, 3 down. Nice work for Logan Groff as it's 3-0 Foresters heading to the bottom half of the second. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom half of the second after Logan Groff made easy work of the Foresters, going 1-2-3 and collecting his 3rd strikeout of the day. Leading it off for the Blues, it's Nico Button, the left-handed hitting catcher from Cal Berkeley, batting 5th. Took a look at ball 1 from Peyton Gubler, right-hander from BYU, as the second offering misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Nico Button, a part of the 3-man rotation of Dean Trainer's catchers. It's his turn this afternoon on July 3rd as the 2-0 is missing inside. 3 straight balls to Button. Nico this season batting a .313 average. He has 10 hits in his 32 at-bats. 3 of them for extra bases, all of them doubles. As a 3-0 down the middle of the plate, 3 balls and 1 strike. Nico has scored 7 runs and has driven in 4. 3-1 to Button is shot the other way, and a leaping grab from Pompey for the first out of the inning. Nice rangy grab for the Texas Tech Red Raider, and that's the first out of the second inning. Not much you can do there if you're Nico Button. He hit it off the end of the bat ever so softly, and it gave Pompey enough time to range it down on the dirt and snag it out of the air for out number 1. As now Brendan Comerford steps up for the first time today. The third baseman from Ohlone College batting 6th. Comerford is the recipient of strike 1 in his 21st start of the season. Here's the 0-1 as Comerford looks at an off speed upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. The power hitting infielder hits it softly off the hands, up and out of play. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes here. Foresters lead 3-0 over the SLO Blues in the bottom half of the second inning on a firework night at Sinsheimer Stadium. And you really just cannot understate the crowd that we are seeing at Sinsheimer right now. As the 1-2 is hit softly on the ground left side, Pompey squares it up, takes a few shuffles, throws over to first, is in time to retire Comerford for the second out of the inning. 6-3 ground ball and 2 gone here for Gio Blanchette, a designated hitter from Fresno City College, batting 7th for the Blues. He also played in last year's 4th of July or 3rd of July firework game. The pinch hitter, 0 for 1 with a strikeout last year. And he gets some action here as he hits this one off the hands, right back into the screen. No balls and 1 strike. Blanchette, an outfielder from Fresno City College after redshirting at St. Mary's his first year of baseball at the next level, as the 0-1 is taken for strike 2. Last time Blanchette saw some action, it was on June 28 against the Alameda Merchants. He started that game where the Blues won 8-7 over Alameda, as the 0-2 misses downstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. No hits in that game in his 3 at-bats and 2 strikeouts. Last time he got a hit was on June 21st against the San Diego Sunrays, where he went 1 for 3 in their 14-2 win. He chops this one off his foot, and he limps around the batter's box. 1 ball and 2 strikes again. Adjusting his batting gloves just outside the chalk. Trying to take a few deep breaths to wave off the pain. He does as he surveys his bat and digs back into the rear end of the right-handed batter's box. Gubler kicks and deals on the 1-2, and Blanchette leaves that fastball for the Birds. 2 balls and 2 strikes. As said, native of Fresno, California, now playing for his local junior college after sitting out his first year at St. Mary's, as that off speed is taken for strike 3. Blanchette knew it right away, and the Blues go in order in the second. 3-0 Santa Barbara heading into the third inning. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Third inning here at Sinsheimer Stadium. The Foresters lead the SLO Blues 3-0 on a firework night, the biggest game of the year for the Blues, as this stadium is absolutely filled to the brim. Can't even see the grass concourse anymore except on the walkways, as Jonas Sebring is first pitch swinging and it hits into shallow right field. Hicksonbaugh ranging in on it. He stutter steps and makes the grab. One pitch, one out for Logan Groff after retiring the batters in order in the second inning. 4 in a row for the Bulldog, and now it's the left fielder from the University of Michigan. A two-way player batting third for Santa Barbara, Will Rogers. He struck out swinging back in the first inning, the first K victim of Logan Groff this afternoon. He stands with his knees locked in the right-handed batter's box and digs in upright into the 2 craters in the dirt. First pitch from Groff is swung on and hit right back into the netting. No balls and 1 strike to Will Rogers. Rogers, his story, he spent his first 2 seasons in Tempe, Arizona with the Arizona State Sun Devils, then followed recruiting coordinator Ben Greenspan to the University of Michigan, where he has done a 180 in his career, you could say, as the sliders hit right back to Groff and he makes the snag for the second out of the inning. More on his journey later, as there's 2 gone here in the third. Nice reflexes from the Bulldog. 5 straight retired from Logan Groff, as it's now Jack Hammond, the designated hitter, batting left-handed. He grounded to second base last time he was up for the second out of the inning, and he is having a ludicrous season. Entering today's game, his league average for the Santa Barbara Foresters sits at 500, and I know you're probably thinking, oh, that's probably in 4 at-bats or even 8 at-bats. This is in 32 abs. He has 16 hits and 32 at-bats, 5 of them for extra bases, 2 home runs, and 3 triples, 13 runs batted in. As the 1-0 is high and tight, almost hits him on the forearm. 2 balls and no strikes to Holman. Holman has spent 3 seasons of college baseball at UCLA with the Bruins, entered the transfer portal, and quickly was picked up by the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, the reigning and defending Big West champions, as he pops this one up behind home plate. Button throws the mask off. He floats to his left, makes the grab, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down for Groff. He's retired 6 in a row, heading to the bottom half of the third. Foresters up 3-0 over the Blues. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues streaming network. Jared Medham, Jake Hicksonbaugh, and Braden Jeffries due up for the Blues in the bottom of the third inning. They still trail the Foresters 3-0 after that 3 spot from Logan Groff in the first. 2-run home run and a pass ball brought across all the runs the Foresters have this game. as Medham stands open stanced in the right-handed batter's box. A short stop from St. Mary's, and he's first pitch swinging, and it's up the middle for a base hit. There goes the no-hitter from Goobler as Jared Medham shoots a single to start things in the third. Nice approach from Medham, wasting no time, ambushing that fastball down the heart of the plate. And now that gives way to Jake Hicksonbaugh, 9-hole hitter, batting left-handed, playing right for the Blues. He also saw some action in last year's 3rd of July game. He was 1 for 5, batting second, and he had 2 strikeouts for the Blues. As Medham gets a medium lead at first base, Hicksonbaugh is the recipient of strike 1. Jake, a lot more playing time in the summer of 2023 compared to this year, but he gets the nod against Santa Barbara exactly a calendar year later. As the throw back to first is not in time. Medham slides to a knee, crawling back to the bag. Still 0-1 to Hicksonbaugh. Last time Jake had an at-bat, it was against the Merchants on June 29th. He went 0 for 4 there. He came around to score, and he also walked with a stolen bag. Another pick back to first, and Medham's there safely. No balls and 1 strike to Hicksonbaugh after 2 straight picks to first, as that one hits off the bottom of his bat, a foul ball to the outfielder from Monterey Peninsula College. Couldn't tell if he wanted to roll out of the way or check his swing there. He did a combination of both. And he took putting the knob towards the ball, literally. Here's the 0-2. Off the hands, flared down the left field line and foul. We'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. Here's some more update on Brooks Lee. He's now digging to the batter's box for the 3rd time today for the Minnesota Twins. The former Blue who played right where TJ Pompey is playing right now for a season. Throw back to first, not in time to get Medham again, as Brooks Lee has just collected his 2nd major league hit. He brought across Byron Buxton from second base. 7-2 Tigers now. He brought across the 2nd run of the Twins for this game, as Jake Hicksonbaugh goes down looking for the first out of this inning. Storybook stuff. What a cool moment for Brooks Lee. He hit that one a little harder than his first major league hit. He's 2 for 3 on the day. Unbelievable. The OG hit collector. As Braden Jeffries, the leadoff man, digs in with 1 gone here in the 3rd, and he takes a look at ball 1. Last time Jeffries was up, he chopped a grounder to second base to begin things in the bottom half of the 1st. Blues have now hit through the lineup against Goobler here in the bottom of the 3rd. They trail by 3 to the Forsters as Jeffries hits that one up and out of play into the grass concourse. 1 ball and 1 strike to the future Michigan Wolverine. And we're talking about the 500 league average that Jack Holman has for. Shadows beginning to crawl into the infield at Sinsheimer as the sun sets behind Cerro San Luis and the pine trees over the Blues bullpen. As carefully taking his lead as Medham, Jeffries holds up his swing on the breaking ball downstairs. Taman smothers it, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Medham on first after collecting the first hit of the game for the Blues. 3-0 ball game, Foresters lead on a firework night. And that hits the back of the leg of Jeffries. Braden gets hit for the 3rd time this season. And now 2 runners on for Jariah Lewis.
Sponsors of Blues Baseball include Fresh Paint Company, Geo Solutions, Glenn Burdett, Guaranteed Rate, High Street Deli, and Horizon Realty.
In tonight's 1 through 9 for the Blues, there are 15 hit by pitches between them. Jeffries just made it 15 here, as he's now at first, trying not to rub his hamstring. As Lewis, who struck out looking back in the first, looking for redemption here against Gubler. 6 runs batted in this season, on the quest to record at least 7. First pitch, he shows bunt, gets it down. Taman's got it, and they'll call a foul ball. Didn't hit home plate, must have just hit just to the left of it. So everyone retreats back to their bags. Jeffrey's a little slower than met him. And no balls and 1 strike to Jay Lou. Lewis making his 14th start of the season for the Blues, batting second for Dean Traynor. With Cooper Witten on deck, the power threat for San Luis Obispo, who has caught fire within the past 3 games. As Jiraiya chops this one in front of home plate, enough time for the runners to advance. He's retired at first, but a productive out for the Blues, as there's now 2 runners in scoring position for Cooper Witten.
Batting now, number 47 from the University of Washington.
2 gone here for Witten, wanting to make some more damage against these Foresters. He's the tying run digging into the plate. He has a home run this season already. Witten looks at that slider in there for strike 1. University of Washington Husky starting to showcase his powers with the Blues as he's starting to get some more chances from Dean Traynor. He capitalized, getting a midweek start on Tuesday, hitting 2 triples. As the 0-1 to him comes in, another slider, it misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Witten. Cooper played in the Perfect Game National Showcase and hit .213 for the University of Washington last year. 26 hits in his 122 at-bats for UW. Time called by the catcher, and everyone hits reset. Wind softly blowing out to left field. Outfield playing at regular depth, regular alignments as well. Infield doing mostly the same. And first baseman Rodriguez playing awfully far off the bag, though. As the 1-1 comes home, Witten holds up his swing on the slider. 2 balls and 1 strike to the UW Husky. Casey Borba does some stretches on deck, as he'd love to get an opportunity here with 2 gone. Blues trailing by 3 to Santa Barbara. Open stance in the stretch is Gubler as he stares down his catcher Taman and finally comes set, swinging that left leg around and pumping his right foot. Here's the 2-1 to Witten. He breaks his bat and cues it on the ground right side. Rodriguez has got it. No run scores, and the side is retired. The Blues strand 2 runners on 1 hit, no errors. It's still 3-0 Santa Barbara as we'll head into the 4th inning, and Ryan Giacomini joins me in the booth. I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Top of the fourth inning, the Santa Barbara Foresters lead the SLO Blues 3-0 on July 3rd, the biggest home crowd of the year for Sinsheimer, expecting around 2,200 people at the stadium. But the Blues are trying to get a win first before they can watch some fireworks. Logan Groff heads back out there for his fourth inning of work, and he delivers strike one to Nolan Souza, who homered the opposite way his first time up. As Ryan Giacomini joins me in the broadcast booth. Ryan, as you saw that swing on the home run, I think both of us thought it was extra bases for sure, but certainly not a ball that sneaks over the fence.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get out, especially with the way the wind blows here at Sinsheimer. It's very hard to get a ball out, and I thought he got a little bit underneath that ball, but he was able to muscle it out with some backspin.
As the 1-1 is taken for strike two to Nolan Souza. And what have you seen from Logan Groff? He had some difficulties in the first inning, but he's been able to corral it well the next two, retiring 6 batters in a row. We're trying to go for number 7 against Nolan Souza.
Ever since that home run, actually, that Souza had, he has pitched extremely well, gave up the walk, but then, like you mentioned, 7 straight retired batters since.
Here's the 2-2 to Nolan Souza, the second baseman from the University of Arkansas and Hawaii native. Fastball missing upstairs, fills it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
We're starting to see a theme between these Blues pitchers, giving up runs in the early innings and then kind of shoving in the middle innings, and the Blues bats never really getting going until the later innings.
Payoff pitch to Souza is hit off the hands, up and out of play. We'll do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that puts a lot of pressure on the offense, makes it a little more harder to be more productive when you're just kind of grinding your teeth to try to get any sort of runs on the board, because now you're just playing catch up the whole time.
Especially at home where the other team scores before you even get a chance.
And the 3-2 walk misses upstairs, and there's a leadoff walk to Nolan Souza. He reaches base safely for the second time today, and that's the 3rd walk that Groff has pitched today. Once again, it's more command issues for these Blues pitchers. We saw it yesterday in the Eddie Tierney start. Jace Evangelista came into relief. And he looked good, living in the zone, attacking in on the hands to hitters. And Logan Groff trying to pick away here this time. Having some troubles honing in on the strike zone as he misses inside to the right-handed batter TJ Pompey, the shortstop batting 6th, who walked his first time up in the first inning, went first to third on an errant throw from Logan Groff. That's the one and only error of this ball game. Short lead at first base from Nolan Souza, as swinging and missing at that fastball upstairs is Pompey. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Red Raider.
I have a feeling facing Souza the second time, who stands on first, Groff was going to work around him a little bit more, didn't want to give up another run.
Pick back to first, not in time.
When you were a hitter, did you ever see a little bit of treatment like that? You get a home run or maybe just an extra base hit, and then the next time up the pitcher doesn't really throw you anything good?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And that fastball is taken for a strike to TJ Pompey. No balls and 2 strikes. Checked at the 1-2 on Pompey. With a short lead at first by Souza. Another pick over there, not in time. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Native from Coppell, Texas, entering his sophomore season at Texas Tech. On the 1-2, he swings and misses for strike 3. There's the 4th K of the day from Logan Groff. 1 out here in the 4th.
Beautiful off speed there from Groff. Goes with the high leg kick out of the stretch and right by Pompey for his 4th strikeout.
And it's a nice job getting that out after losing the battle on the 3-2 walk to Nolan Souza. Comes right back to Pompey, and this time attacks the right-handed hitter in on the hands, and he got him swinging in his kitchen for the first out of the inning in the 4th K as Souza takes off towards second base. Real nice jump, and the throw is short, and a nice pick from Medham. At shortstop isn't in time to catch the speedster from Hawaii. Now a runner in scoring position for the Sturs.
Big 90 feet there from Souza. Now ground ball can't be turned into a double play and get you out of this inning.
So that's Nolan's 4th stolen base of the season as Johnny Rodriguez looks to make it hurt here in the 4th inning. The dirtbag swings and pounds it into the ground left side. Huge hop from Medham. He corrals it. The throw over to first is in time, but advancing to third on the ground out is Nolan Souza. 2 gone here in the 4th with a runner at third and Nolan Souza.
And right there you see how important those 90 feet are. That's most likely a ground ball double play and an ending double play, but instead now you have a runner 90 feet away from the 4th run of the ball game for the Foresters and 2 outs.
And I think a miniature victory for Logan Groff to collect those 2 outs right after the walk. He got the weak contact and the strikeout after losing that battle to Souza, as there's a first pitch strike to Ryan Taman, who flew out to right field last time he was up. Some good little nuggets to keep your head high after surrendering 3 runs in the first. 0-1 to Taman, and he fishes for that slider downstairs. No balls and 2 strikes.
He's really favoring that slider against these righties, starting it at their back, finding the inside part, and then going to it again, but starting it in the middle of the zone and having it dive off the plate.
0-2, slider missing outside, started out, it broke out. Button had to smother his mitt in the dirt to get that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Taman. And the 3-pitch pitcher with a 2-pitch mix really today, just fastball slider living in that area. Here's the 1-2 to Ryan Taman as Groff kicks and deals. It's a fastball just missing inside. I thought it had a chance to be called strike 3. It's not, and the count's even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A good spot to miss, though. A very competitive pitch from Groff. See what he does after the 2-2 fastball.
Slider, he checks a swing. They appeal to first, and he went around. Strike 3 for Logan Groff, and he strands Nolan Souza 90 feet away. 3-0 Foresters will head to the home half of the 4th. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the Slow Blues streaming network. Middle of the order for the Slow Blues, Casey Borba, Nico Button, and Brendan Comerford leading off the bottom half of the 4th inning. Blues still trail the Foresters 3-0. They got those 3 runs in the top of the 1st, and both teams goose eggs ever since. Casey Borba looking to change that around here, leading off for the Blues. He struck out swinging his first time up to end things back in the 1st inning. Here's the first pitch to him, and it misses inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Entering his sophomore season at Texas with the Longhorns. A native from Santa Ana, California, and a graduate of the legendary Orange Lutheran High School. As he waves at that off speed, 1 ball and 1 strike. returning to the Longhorns this next season after the crazy coaching carousel down in Austin, as he hits this softly on the ground left side. Scooping it up is Pompey. Throw over to first. Off the bag is Rodriguez, but he tags Borba for the first out of the inning. Ground out to begin the fourth. Now it's Nico Button, the left-handed hitting catcher from Cal Berkeley. He lined out to Pompey last time he was up. Just a real tough break for Button. He did all he could there, hitting off the end of the bat, and it was hit soft enough to buy time for Pompey to stride it over to the right side of the infield and make the snag. As he takes a look at that fastball inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Borba trying to figure out the bat a little bit. He had that home run on Saturday, but since 0 for 15.
1-0 to Button, just missing inside, 2 balls and no strikes. And yeah, once he came onto the scene and hit that home run, I think all the Blues Nation was excited for his arrival. Of course, we still are. He's just having some difficulties right now as a wild hack from Button comes up empty, 2 balls and 1 strike. He has been messing around with some hitting mechanics, and we really thought he turned a corner when he adjusted his front left foot as a right-handed hitter, as Button takes a look at strike 2. Initially, he came into San Luis Obispo with his toes on the ground and his heel very elevated. As a 2-2 comes into Button, and he swings and hits this over the Foresters bullpen, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And when he started to get hot, he lowered that heel more and more until it was about a credit card distance off the ground. And he's stayed there ever since, but has retreated in his offensive production as Nico Button fills up the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that's what you do in the summer, just trying different hitting mechanics and see what sticks, as the payoff pitch is nubbed on the left side, and jumping for that ball is Patterson. He can't come up with it. Nico Button reaches on the soft hit infield single that tipped over the glove of Patterson. That is Button's 5th hit of the year. In his 34 at-bats. Second one of the day for San Luis Obispo as they try to ignite the spark here in the 4th inning with Brendan Comerford digging in. Comerford looks at that fastball inside as Taman slides to his left. 1 ball, no strikes. Last time Brendan was up, he grounded out to the shortstop Pompey for the second out of the 2nd inning. Small lead for Button over at first base, as the 1-0 is taken down the middle for strike 1. Comerford tied for first with doubles. He has 7. Also has 2 triples and 13 runs batted in for the Blues. And he looks at that changeup downstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. Brendan from Pleasanton, California, entering his sophomore season at Ohlone after redshirting his first year at St. Mary's. There's a 2-1 to him, and he swings and hits this over the press box. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Comerford. Brendan digging in on the 2-2 as Gubler kicks and deals. He holds up his swing on the slider that's kicked around in the dirt. Keeping it in front is Taman. They appealed to first. They concur that Comerford didn't go around. He fills up the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Back-to-back 3-2 counts for Blues hitters here in the 4th.
Looking to capitalize the runner on first in a full count. Take a ball and get a walk. Put a good barrel on it. Grab a bag or 2. Blues looking to manufacture some runs after giving up 3 in the first.
Nico Button above average speed for a catcher. Let's see what he can do here on a ball and play from Comerford. Only has 1 stolen bag on the year. Not that he'd steal here. Just to get an idea of the wheels. 3-2 is half swung and spun down the first base line and foul. And it looks like it didn't hit his barrel at all. It looks like it kicked around the dirt and kicked off the mitt of Taman. So that's actually a strikeout swinging for Brendan Comerford. And there's 2 gone here in the 4th. Another angle up in the press box. I thought he might have caught some lumber on that one.
Definitely looked like he did, but Button moves up into scoring position on the wild pitch. So you have that runner in scoring position for Giovanni Blanchette.
That's Comerford's 17th strikeout of the season. And now it's Blanchette, who struck out looking to end the 2nd inning. Digs in now. And the first pitch, slider, missing inside. 1 ball, no strikes to Blanchette. Gio from Fresno City College entering this game with a small sample size, batting .250. This is his 9th start of the year. And his 30th at-bat as a Blue in the 2024 summer. As the 1-0 is hit right back up the middle, off the glove of Gluber. Big hop over to Souza. He bobbles it on the transfer, and Blanchette reaches safely. He's got those wheels busting out the box, and he shows it there. An infield single for the Blues. That's 2 this inning that are a little debatable as they made contact with the gloves. But I agree they should both be hits. So now the pitching coach for Santa Barbara goes out to talk to his right-hander in Gubler, with runners now at the corners for Jared Medham, who collected the first base hit of the game for San Luis Obispo this past inning. Intimate meeting on the mound. The coach, catcher Taman, and Peyton Gubler all with their arms around each other, sharing a discussion. The home plate umpire is going to have to get involved as Medham patiently waits with his feet just touching the chalk of the right-handed batter's box. Tying run is at the plate in Jared Medham. Blues trailing by 3 to the Foresters. They now have more hits than Santa Barbara.
Official score on that Blanchette ground ball is a hit. Official scorekeeper's reasoning is the fact it hit off the pitcher's glove changed the direction of the grounder and made it a tougher play for the second baseman, and therefore a hit.
Medham with his open right-handed stance looks at that fastball nudging the inside corner. And I should call it a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to Medham. The St. Mary's Gale and former WCC all-freshman team back in 2023. As there's a slider in there for a strike. Medham looks back at the home plate umpire, asking where that was. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Half Moon Bay native. Here's the 1-1. That one sliding to his left is Taman. There's some daylight for Button. He chugs home, and there's the first run of the game for the Blues. They have an answer for the Foresters as the ball goes underneath the wickets of Ryan Taman. Nico Button takes advantage. 3-1 Santa Barbara.
Blues will take it however you can get it, and that still leaves a runner in scoring position and the opportunity for Medham to still drive in a run.
Tying run is at the plate in Jared Medham. Blanchette creeping off second base. Here's the 2-1. It's dribbled on the left side. Pompey charges it. Here's the throw on the run. Plenty of time to get Medham, and the side is retired. The Blues finally have an answer. They get 1 run on 2 hits. No errors, and they leave a runner on base. It's 3-1 Santa Barbara. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the Slow Blue Streaming Network. Fifth inning is brought to you by Apex Technical Sales. You can find them at glenair-apex.com. Apex Technical Sales. We're here to make you successful. First pitch swinging is Daniel Patterson, and the throw from Medham is in time for the first out of the inning. One pitch, one out here for Logan Groff. That's the second time he's done that today. Last time he did that was the Jonas Sebring pop out to left field.
Very different Logan Groff in the second, third, fourth, and now fifth inning than we saw in the first inning. A lot of soft contact, a lot of strikes. He's getting these Santa Barbara Foresters hitters out. Since that first inning, he's only given up one base runner.
It's the leadoff man, Caden Peterson. He's 1 for 2 on the day. A single to lead off the game, and a ground out to Medham at short. Medham, the UOP Tiger, spits on that fastball way outside to Button, who gets past his glove. 1 ball and 1 strike. 3-1 ball game now as the Blues got a run from a pass ball. Coming around to score the first of the game was Nico Button from third, as that fastball nudges the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blanchette was stranded on second base after collecting a 2-out hit in the fourth. And here's the 1-2 from Groff. A high fly ball to left field. Witten fighting the sun, circles around it and squeezes it for the second out of the inning. 2 quick outs here for Logan Groff, starting to hit his stride here as we approach the halfway point of this game. And now it's Jonas Sebring. He scored the second run of the game for Santa Barbara off a walk, and he popped out to right field in the third.
Take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard real quick. There's only 2 other league games today. Menlo Park Legends and the Stompers are taking the field at Arnold Field. It's the bottom of the first, and it's 0-0. And then at the MLB Youth Academy, the Barons and the Saints are in the top of the fifth, and the Barons are leading 1-0.
The Saints are ahead of the Barons in the CCL South as Sebring takes a look at strike 1. There's a big gap between there, though. The Saints are 2.5 outside of first, and the Barons are 6.5. It's a monopoly down in the South as the 0-1 to Sebring misses outside. And as for the North, the Menlo Park Legends and the Stompers, that's a very important game for the Blues because the Blues are tied in third place with Sonoma, and they're half a game behind Menlo Park, who has outright possession of second place, with Walnut Creek just absolutely running away with first. 7 wins in a row as Sebring pops this one into shallow right. Hixenbaugh strides in on it. He makes the grab in the shadows, and the side is retired. Another 3 up, 3 down here for Logan Groff in the 5th inning. We're halfway home on the SLO Blues streaming network. We have entered the second half of the game on the SLO Blues streaming network and a firework night July 3rd. This is the SLO Blues Super Bowl as Jake Hixenbaugh leads off this inning and shows bunt and pulls it back for strike one. Tonight's 9-hole hitter batting left-handed and is 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking back in the third. Here's the 0-1 to him, and he swings and spins this one up and over the net out of the stadium. No balls and 2 strikes.
Hixenbaugh looking to get on base, get something going for the top of this order, and keep clawing at this Forester's lead.
Hixenbaugh holds up his swing on the off-speed, missing downstairs after the appeal to first. They say he didn't go around. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the outfielder from Monterey Peninsula College. Currently uncommitted. A Tascadero, California native. Grew up going to Blues games, quite a few fireworks games as well, as he goes down swinging. Slams the end of the bat on home plate, and there's 1 gone now for the leadoff hitter in Braden Jeffries. Second strikeout looking on the day for Hixenbaugh. 1 gone here in the 5th. Jeffries grounded out to second base and was hit by pitch in the 3rd. He was eventually stranded at second base. Right-hander Gubler heading out there for his 5th inning of work, and he's completely draped in the shadows being cast by the pine trees over the Blues bullpen. And he pitches ball 1 to Braden Jeffries.
Makes it very hard for these hitters to see the ball. It's starting in the shadow and then crosses over into the light.
1-0. Braden cues it down the left field line, and it's foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Backpedaling towards home, he picks up his stick to get ready for the 1-1 offering. And yet Jeffries is completely in the sunlight. This starts to happen after the summer solstice. We saw it last year. Those shadows are wicked at those 6 p.m. games for the Blues. From the windup, here's the 1-1 from Gubler, and it nudges the outside corner for strike 2.
The wind has died down here at Sinsheimer, a sight you don't see all that often. The center field flag is not blowing hard out to left field,
which is what makes that Souza opposite field home run that much more special. Left-hander just punching it the other way. Tons of power without the support of the wind. As Jeffries takes a look at ball 2. 2-2 to the Hart High School graduate and commit to the University of Michigan. He holds up his swing on a fastball that almost clips him in the left shin. Fills it up at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
He already got hit today, and he didn't like the feeling of that one, dancing in the box to make sure he doesn't get hit again.
That was his 3rd hit by pitch of the year as the payoff pitch is spun up and over the netting into the bleachers. Do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
One thing we talk about almost every game that Braden Jeffries plays is how mature of a batter he is at the plate. This guy hasn't seen a single college pitch outside of Summers League here at the CCL, and he is an incredible hitter with a really good discipline.
Payoff pitch missing inside, and there's a walk to Jeffries.
There's that discipline on display right there. No hits in the game, but he's reached base twice on a hit by pitch and a walk. So still producing that on-base percentage and the leadoff spot for the Blues.
That's the 9th walk on the season. He has 9 walks to his 6 strikeouts. And that, to me, is the biggest tip that you're a pure hitter. Now it's Jeriel Lewis. He struck out looking and grounded to the pitcher back in the 3rd. And he looks at that ball up and away for ball 1. Cooper Witten awaits on deck. Jeriel Lewis trying to move that runner, Braden Jeffries, over to scoring position. He takes off towards second. Nice jump from him as the feet first slide is in there safely. Stolen bag from Jeffries, and that's his 3rd on the year.
Really good jump. Catcher Taman pump faked originally. I don't think he thought that anyone was going to cover the bag, but Pompey was headed over there. Kind of interesting he didn't just make the throw down.
It was a little delayed reaction for the infield converging at second base. Took him a second there to make their way over to the bag. I think that's where we saw the clutch from Taman, as it's now 2 balls and 1 strike to Jariah Lewis. He rests his bat over his left trap. The ash color barrel looks at that offering downstairs. 3 balls and 1 strike. A hitter's count to the left-handed hitter from San Jose State as Taman heads out to talk to his right-hander. Lewis on the season has 6 runs batted in. Wants to make it 7 right here as the Blues trail by 2 to the Foresters in the bottom half of the 5th.
While we have a second here, let's talk a little bit about the man on second base. Braden Jeffries, you're just talking about how mature some of his at-bats have been. There's a statistic that is, I wouldn't say made up, but it was created by somebody online, a baseball fanatic. And what he does is he calculates, it's called batter average game score.
There's a walk to Jariah Lewis. That's his 6th of the season. Runners on first and second for the Blues.
Really good take there by Jariah. Get another runner on base. It's called batter average game score. And essentially what it is it calculates how good a batter is at the plate, taking into account at-bats, plate appearances, strikeout rate, hits, walks, everything you can imagine. He released his summer rankings up to this point just a few days ago on, actually, let's see, it looks like he has an updated list on the 4th, or 4 hours ago, excuse me. Braden Jeffries is second in the nation in this category that he has made up with 164 bags. His scale is 100 is average, 125 is solid, 150 is excellent, and 175 is elite. And Braden Jeffries is at 167, so nearing that elite mark and second in the nation at 18 years old.
That's insane.
Yeah. To give a little more context, all hitters that have been drafted in the MLB in the last 15 years in the first 20 rounds have a combined bags score of 137. Braden Jeffries is 30 points higher than that right now. Quite impressive. There's also some other CCL names on here. Kirk Wolf of the West Coast Kings. You have Joey Kramer of the Healdsburg Prune Packers, not in the CCL anymore, but he was on the Prune Packers last year when they were in the CCL. You have Adam Camberg of the Crawdads, Connor Ross of the Mudcats, Justin Rubin of the Oaks.
And Kosciuszko 9th, Presley Kosciuszko for the Crawdads. I mean, it was their best hitter that we saw up in Walnut Creek, and he just did damage in nearly every single at-bat for the Dads. It's no surprise to me that he's 9th on that list. Honestly surprised he's not higher, really.
Now taking a deeper look, that list is only from the CCL and the Pacific Empire League. So he's second essentially in the 2 biggest leagues in California in that stat.
First pitch to Cooper Witten is hit into the right center gap, and it falls for a base hit. Rounding third base and heading towards home is Braden Jeffries as Cooper Witten's trying for another triple. He slides into the bag. Oh, baby, 2 runs for the Blues. He ties it up in the 5th.
Oh, baby, indeed. Cooper Witten has been getting it done with the bat. 5 extra base hits in his last 4 games. I was talking about him with Rene Regalado, who was standing right next to over at third base before the game. Rene, this kid is seeing the ball, and he just showed it right there.
More clutch hitting for the UW Husky as he punishes balls the opposite way. The right-hander hitting with some juice.
Keeps hitting like this, we might see him on this bags list I was just talking about.
Stay tuned. So now manager Bill Pintard out to talk to Gubler. And the right-hander's day has come to an end. We'll let you know who the new pitcher is for the Foresters after this break. The Blues have tied it on a 2 RBI triple from Cooper Witten. 3-3 on the SLO Blues streaming network.
Oh, I wonder if I can find the GIF. Oh, baby, a triple.
Please use the trash. We have 20 hardworking interns cleaning up for 2,000 fans. They would really appreciate you taking the trash to the trash can.
New pitcher in for the Santa Barbara Foresters. Peyton Gubler's day is done. He went 4 1/3, allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The Blues have just come to life here in the 5th, and they now have to face the new pitcher, Zach Brown, no relation to the band, digging into the rubber and making his second appearance this season in league play for the Foresters. As the first pitch offering misses inside to Casey Borba, who's 0 for 2 on the day.
This becomes a very important at-bat now. 1 out, runner on third, a sac fly or a base hit gets that run home.
Go-ahead run 90 feet away in Cooper Witten as Borba swings and misses over that changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And you got to think, Borba, who since hitting that home run has been struggling a little bit, a base knock and an RBI right here would give him a little momentum and maybe help him find that bat a little bit more.
It only takes one as the 1-1 comes home and it nearly clips him on the elbow. 2 balls and 1 strike to the Longhorn. Last time Zach Brown pitched in a league game, it was 2 innings against their 5-4 loss against the Orange County Riptide. Allowed 3 runs on 1 hit, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and 10 batters faced. Here's the 2-1. It's hit on the ground, left side. Pompey's got it, and he can't collect it. Bobbles it, throw over to first, and he still gets Borba in time. The run comes in to score for the Blues. 4-3 San Luis Obispo on the RBI ground out from Casey Borba.
I thought there was no way Pompey was going to be able to make that play after bobbling it not once but twice. But a strong throw, RBI ground out. The Blues will take it any way you can get it.
And, man, that just goes to show you the cannon that Pompey has at shortstop. And you said it, 2 bobbles to retire Borba over at first. But it gets the job done. 2 gone, though, for Nico Button as he spoils that one back into the net. No balls and 1 strike. Button today, a line out to Pompey at shortstop and a single back in the 4th where he scored the first run of this game. 0-1 to Button, a big swing and a miss for strike 2. Now a 4-3 lead for the Blues at Sinsheimer in front of at least 2,000 fans. This one's chopped on the ground right side. Rodriguez has got it. He calls off his pitcher, Brown, and the side is retired. The Blues do get some runs, though. They take the lead over Santa Barbara on a hit, 3 runs, no errors, and no runners left on base. 4-3 Blues will head into the 6th inning. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Sixth inning is brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. You can find them at sdgarchitects.com. Studio Design Group Architects. For 40 years, they've designed buildings with one thing in mind: people. The Blues take the lead in the fifth inning as we enter the sixth. A 3-spot here as Gubler's day is done. Zach Brown came into relief. Cooper Witten just continues to stay hot. His third triple of the season, good enough to bring across 2 runs for the Blues. And now it's a 4-3 ball game in favor of San Luis Obispo. So now it's Will Rogers leading things off in the sixth inning. He's 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout and a line out to Groff, who made an excellent grab back in the third inning. Rogers fouls off the first offering, and he paces around the batter's box. One and one to the Michigan Wolverine. Looking to cut into this lead as this infield is almost completely engulfed in darkness. Kicks and deals. Here's a liner to right field. Hicksonbaugh judging it. Gets his feet underneath him and squeezes it for the first out of the inning.
Groff has been dealing since that first inning. I mean, he has been electric to watch. Just the one base runner given up in the fourth, but outside of that, putting these Foresters hitters down in order and giving this Blues team some length in this game, which they need desperately with how depleted their bullpen is.
And this was going to be a tall order anyway, because these Foresters hitters, they're no joke. They got resumes better than most teams in the CCL, and to see Parker Goff have success like he is today is a very, very good sign for the Blues, and especially after taking the lead in the fifth inning. We've talked about it before, how their offense seems to find a lull in that middle third of the game, and that time with the swing of Cooper Witten, they just proved that completely wrong. A 3-spot in the fifth to take the lead. Swinging and missing for strike 2 is Jack Holman, the DH, who was hitting .500 entering today's game, is 0 for 2 and is down no balls and 2 strikes to Logan Groff. Here it comes. He swings and pops this one up and into the parking lot. No balls and 2 strikes again. The future Gaucho at UC Santa Barbara after spending 3 years with the Bruins at UCLA. A former Pac-12, all Pac-12 honorable mention. On the 0-2, swings and misses for strike 3. That's 8 in a row for Logan Groff and his 6th strikeout of the day.
Another really good pitch from Groff. And take another look at this one right here. He goes with the slider, and Rodriguez was not ready for it. Swing and a miss right through it.
Absolutely feeling himself after that 3-spot in the first inning, cruising through these hitters. And now here's a guy who he gave up a home run to in that first inning, a 2-run shot, as he fouls this one off the hands over the Foresters' dugout. No balls and 1 strike. The second baseman, batting left-handed, hit the aforementioned home run, walked back in the fourth and stole a bag, was stranded at third base after advancing to third on the Johnny Rodriguez groundout. 0-1, missing 2 tall, 1 ball and 1 strike.
We saw Groff, the last time Souza was up, kind of work around him a little bit. Didn't want to give him anything he could do damage on like he did in the first inning. It resulted in a walk, but he was later stranded.
1-1, missing up and away, 2 balls and 1 strike to Souza.
Groff just looking to keep the lead that the Blues got in the bottom half of the fifth. There's a lot of momentum in the Blues' favor. He wants to get those bats back up there as quickly as he possibly can.
Souza with his maple barrel looks at the offering outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Saw a ton of action his true freshman season with the Razorbacks. 40 games played, 110 at-bats for Arkansas. 28 hits for a .255 average. 3-1 is swung on and missed for strike 2. Full count now to the Honolulu, Hawaii native, who was rated the #1 prospect overall on the island back in high school. Groff shakes, now agrees with Button. He kicks and deals on the payoff pitch. And Souza spoils that one up and out of play. We'll do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pacing on the Blues dugout side with his razorback colored shin guard, his red helmet, and his Mickey Mouse batting gloves. A bright white. Another payoff. Breaking ball taken for strike 3. 7th K for Logan Groff, and that's 9 retired for the Bulldog. 4-3 Blues entering the bottom half of the 6th. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Bottom of the 6th on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. San Luis Obispo leads the Foresters 4-3 with Brendan Comerford digging in to lead off the 6th inning. Behind him, it's Gio Blanchette and Jared Medham. Comerford searching for his first hit of the day, and he might have just gotten it here as this one's falling fast in the left center gap. Rogers gets it in time. Rangy left fielder from Michigan squeezes it for the 1-pitch 1-out from Zach Brown.
And although hitless, Comerford probably going back to the dugout, happy with that at-bat, attacked the first pitch, hit it hard, hit it on a line. But a really good play from Will Rogers to range to his left and make the play. Can't be too upset with that at-bat.
No, once again, I mean, Comerford did everything you could do there, and you're right. He should write that in his journal as a quality at-bat. Blanchette swings and misses at the first pitch slider for strike 1. Gio 1 for 2 on the day, an infield base hit in the 4th where he was stranded in scoring position, and then a strikeout looking to his first at-bat of the game in the 2nd. 0-1, another slider in there for strike 2. Gio with 2 strikes, and Jared Medham awaiting on deck. 1 gone here in the 6th. Here's the 0-2. And Blanchette looks at that fastball that barely misses inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I don't know how he took that pitch. That was so close to that strike zone.
Gets another chance here to Zach Brown, the Ohio State Buckeye, as he comes set from the belt and kicks and deals on the 1-2. Blanchette swings and misses for strike 3. 2 quick outs here for the Foresters. And now it's Jared Medham stepping up to the plate. That's Blanchette's 11th K on the season. And 41 at-bats for outfielder from Fresno City College. It's now Jared Medham, also 1 for 2 on the day. A hit in the 3rd. He was stranded in scoring position as well, but he also accompanied that with a ground ball to shortstop in the 4th inning. And he leaves that fastball inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Foresters wearing the gray bottoms today with their maroon tops and their blue hats with the white F trimmed in red on top. 1-0 to Medham is in there for strike one. And for Zach Brown, the Buckeye from Ohio State, his scarlet undershirt that he got in college protruding through the maroon red jersey. The 1-1, Medham dodges from that slider inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. A fashion disaster, if you will.
Yeah, indeed.
Medham wearing some red of his own with the batting gloves. Under Armour ones from St. Mary's as the 2-1 comes in. It's a slider nudging the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I know we talked about off colors yesterday and the trend of wearing a color that's not in your team's, arsenal, but it just works somehow. This is not one of those moments, unfortunately.
Not at all.
2-2 is waved on for strike 3. Easy inning for Zach Brown as the Blues go in order. We enter the 7th inning, 4-3 San Luis Obispo. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blue Streaming Network. Logan Groff back out there for the 7th inning of work. And yeah, no kidding, Ryan. He is providing the lengths that the Blues have desperately been searching for, especially in starting pitching. Their bullpen finally has someone going in it right now, playing a very light catch. But Logan Groff on pace to finish through this inning in a 1-run lead over the Foresters.
He has been super efficient.
Pompey shows bunt and pulls it back for strike 2.
Getting it done, like I've mentioned a few times, after that first inning, it's been smooth sailing for Groff out there on the mound.
No balls and 2 strikes to TJ Pompey, who's 0 for 1 of the day with a walk. Here it comes. He swings and breaks his bat on a soft looper to right, sliding, and can't get there as Jeffries tries to stretch it to second. He holds up and retreats back to first. A base hit for the Foresters, the first one in 6 innings.
Yeah, that just goes to show how well Groff has been throwing. He gives up that hit, but that was not hit hard at all.
To say the least. Talk about getting sawed off. The bat broke right above his hands.
Yeah. And it made it further than the ball did almost. It made it out right next to second base.
I mean, the bat was on a line.
Yeah.
Gets through the hole, it's a double.
Yeah, that bat was, that was a good piece of bat or barrel hitting. Throw the barrel out there, literally.
Bat hitting, because it technically is the bat. Yeah. Throw to first to get Pompey is not in time as Johnny Rodriguez steps up for the 3rd time today. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout swinging and a ground ball to second base. And he chases at the fastball up at his head. No balls and 1 strike. Groff in search of a double play right here to try to keep his light work consistent. He just surrendered the first hit in 6 innings. As he picks back over to first, not in time.
Taking a look at the ever so important Stompers versus Legends game, the Stompers now lead 7-0 in the bottom of the second. If the Blues win and the Stompers win, they'll be tied for second place, and Menlo will drop from second to fourth.
One missing way up and outside. Button had to get out of his crouch. 1 ball and 1 strike. And if the games were to end right now for both of those contests, that's where they would stand, tied for second place in the CCL South. Groff kicks and deals as Pompey takes off for second base, and Rodriguez fouls it back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And for the Forsters, they have sole possession of second in the CCL South. That is with a 7-game winning streak, because the Caneo Oaks are on a 7-game winning streak of their own. They have first place in the CCL South, and behind Santa Barbara is OC Riptide, who climbed up to third after beating the Blues yesterday. 1-2 from Groff, and Rodriguez chases upstairs for strike 3.
Another strikeout from Groff. Went with the pitch upstairs. That pitch was really high. Nico Button came all the way out of his squat, stood up and caught it right above the SLO Blues written across his chest. And he's still got a swing from Johnny Rodriguez. Just goes to show how scared these hitters are of him. They're just always ready to swing.
8th K of the day for Logan Groff as he picks back over to first, and Pompey's there safely. He's had the strikeout stuff. Collecting it. Numero ocho just now against Rodriguez. Throw back to first, not in time. Close ball game. Blues trailing by 1 to the Forsters, 4-3, and the top of the 7th inning. We've entered the final third of this game. Firework night at Sinsheimer as the sun sets behind Cerro San Luis. There's still some streaks of light. Cooper Witten having some troubles out there and left, as the fastball just missing upstairs to Ryan Taman. 1 ball, no strikes. We appreciate everyone tuning in on this July 3rd on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. We know you could be here, but we're glad you're celebrating the birth of the United States with us a day early. Short lead from Pompey over at first base as the 1-0 comes home, and Taman leaves it up at his eyes. 2 balls and no strikes. Groff takes off his hat, quaffs his hair with the brim on, and circles around the mound. So now there is one right-hander fully getting underway in the bullpen now.
It's Marco Cipolla.
Swinging and missing at that fastball up in the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike to Taman. And we noticed this last game when the Blues played the Forsters. These hitters love going off after that fastball up in the zone. They know they can lift it and shoot it in the gaps for extra bases. That has not been the case for Groff this evening. He's been collecting swing and misses left and right. As Pompey takes off again, Taman gets underneath this one, and Medham ranges to his right, playable in the infield, leans back and grabs it for the second out of the inning.
Really good work from Groff to get 2 outs after giving up the leadoff base hit. That was pitch 90. Oh, being really efficient with his pitches. 90 through 6 2/3 is incredibly good.
And with him finally in the 9s now in a summer ball game, his time might be coming to an end awfully soon. That's why we're seeing Cipolla starting to pick up the pace here in the 7th inning, as another throw back to first is not in time. Now it's Daniel Patterson. He's 0 for 2 on the day, a strikeout looking, and a ground ball out to Jared Medham at shortstop. The Westmont College Warrior awaits the offering as taken off towards second is Pompey, and he slides in safely. Good jump from the Red Raider, and now a runner in scoring position with 2 gone for Santa Barbara.
A beautifully executed pitch out. Perfect timing, but Button's throw was too high for Jeffries to be able to reach up and slap a tag on, and he had to jump up to get it instead.
Patterson represents the go-ahead run in this game. And he checks his swing on that slider. He went around for a strike. 1-1 to the third baseman batting ninth. Patterson has driven in 6 runs this season with the Foresters. And he waves at the 1-1 fastball for strike 2.
Gotta figure this is probably Groff's last inning, unless Dean Traynor makes the decision that he likes the matchup between Groff and whoever the leadoff batter is, and maybe we'll see him come out to get 1 or 2 more batters.
Inside move at second base, no one's there, no throw. And if he were to retire Patterson here, Groff would have to face Caden Peterson, Jonas Sebring, and Will Rogers next inning. That's 1-2-3 for Santa Barbara. Takes a look at second. Jeffrey's creeping. He comes home. The slider missing at the feet of Button. He keeps it in front, calls time. He wants a new baseball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Patterson. 9 hits on the season for Daniel in his 45 at-bats. 3 of them for extra bases. They're all doubles. More walks than strikeouts. Or actually, now that number's even. 6 each. Jeffrey shaded over the second base bag. The gap in the 4-hole is huge. Has taken off towards third as Pompey, and this one's chopped down the third base line, and it's foul.
A lucky break there for the Blues. Comerford jumped up as if it was going to be fair, had me fooled.
Yeah, I thought it was fair for a sec. I think it was foul by just a few inches. And thank goodness that wasn't in fair territory. That would have easily scored that run from second and Pompey, who already had the head start, taken off towards third.
An interesting decision, to say the least, to take off for third with 2 outs, 2 strikes.
Bill Pintard seems to trust his speed. Coppell, Texas native. As Groff, another inside move, no one's home. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes as the lights have begun to come on here at Sinsheimer. Patterson swings and hits this deep into left field. Witten with his head down, looks up, and it's off the base of the wall. Extra bases for Patterson as he trades places with TJ Pompey, and it's a tied ball game in the 7th.
Not much you can do there if you're Groff. Just let that one a little bit too much out over the plate, and it results in a run. Now it's a tie ball game.
So Dean Traynor heads out to talk to his right-hander. SLO is still getting ready. He takes his time as the entire infield converges towards the mound, and the leadoff batter and Caden Peterson awaits.
This first pitch to Peterson will be pitch 97. Groff going deep in this ball game. It's not something we haven't seen. We saw it his last time out. He threw a good amount of innings. We know he can go these long outings, and the Blues need it, like we mentioned, with how many relievers have had to throw recently.
He didn't make any starts last season with Fresno State. He only had 3 appearances, only pitched in 1 2/3 innings. He did start in 1 game, though, in his sophomore season with the Chargers at Cypress College. 38 innings pitched. He had 3 saves. A 4.74 ERA as a JUCO Bandit. As the first offering to the leadoff man, Caden Peterson, is in there for strike 1. Peterson from the University of the Pacific. 10 of 31 entering tonight's ball game. And he swings and hits this one the other way. That's fair, a base hit. Kicking up some chalk and trading places at second base with Patterson. He's now trying to stretch it into a triple. The throw beats him by a mile, and the tag does too. The run does come in to score, though, on the RBI double from Caden Peterson. It's 5-4 Santa Barbara entering the home half of the 7th. It's time to stretch. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the Slow Boost Streaming Network. Foresters exit dormancy with a 2-run inning here in the 7th off 3 hits, no errors, and they leave no runners on base. They got more hits that inning than the entire rest of the game. And Jake Hixenbaugh is going to be the man to try to cut into this 1-run deficit as he leads off here in the bottom half of the 7th.
The Blues would love to just get it right back here in the 7th. Make the job of most likely Marco Cipolla a little easier.
1-0, he chases it up at his eyes, 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 runs this past inning. It's a 5-4 lead for Santa Barbara as the night sky starts to come into play and a fastball misses outside to Hixenbaugh. 2 balls and 1 strike. Packed crowd here at Sinsheimer. Every single square foot of this stadium has a person in it. It's now 3-1 to Hixenbaugh from that fastball that misses out low and outside. Enjoying a lovely night here in San Luis Obispo. Fans eagerly awaiting the post-game fireworks after the game. 3-1 to Hixenbaugh. In there, first strike. He tossed his bat, thought it was too far outside, but they call him as it nudges the outside corner. Full count now. Outfielder from Monterey Peninsula. Lefty batter faces the right-hander, Zach Brown, as he kicks and deals on the 3-2. He swings and misses for strike 3. Hixenbaugh goes down swinging for the first time today, but that's his 3rd strikeout of the evening. 1 gone here in the 7th.
Not the day Hixenbaugh was looking to have. You mentioned earlier he hasn't been getting a ton of opportunities with how much talent there is on this team that kind of just gets rotated through these games. Wants to make a name for himself and stay in this lineup, but not producing tonight.
Jeffries swings and misses at that changeup for the first pitch. No balls and 1 strike. Jeffries last night had 2 hits, a single and an RBI double in the 7th. He went 2 for 5 against the OC Riptide. Hitless tonight as the 0-1 comes in for strike 2. Ground ball to second base, a hit by pitch, and a walk. He came around to score there on the 2 RBI triple from Cooper Witten.
Hitless but productive.
0-2, missing low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that appears to be the plan of attack for Zach Brown, is to get up 0-2 on these hitters, try to entice them with that fastball low and away. They haven't budged in 2 at-bats.
Jeffries is someone who's not going to budge.
He waves at that changeup for strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Zach Brown, and that's his 4th of the outing. 2 gone here in the 7th.
Now it's got to come with 2 outs, and off the bat of Jariah Lewis if the Blues want to try to quickly get those 2 runs right back from the Sturs.
Blues have already doubled their strikeout total from last night here in the 7th inning. Last night they have 5. Tonight there's 10. And Jariah Lewis has 1 of them, a strikeout looking in the 1st. Grounded back to the pitcher and walked as he dribbles this one on the right side, and diving is Souza. It gets into the outfield, and Lewis tries to round first and head to second. The throw is low, but it's in time to retire the outfielder from San Jose State. But they're going to say interference at first base from Zach Brown. And yeah, I'm going to have to agree. He was standing in the middle of the base path. I'm not really sure what he's arguing. Clearly in the base path.
I'm not surprised that he's arguing. Obviously, he wants to not have a runner on second. A extremely good heads-up play from Jariah Lewis. He rounded first, and it looked like he was going to stop. But when he ran into the pitcher, he just kept going, knowing that he was going to get that interference call, and whether or not he was safe or out at second, he was going to get the bag.
Heads up base running from Lewis, who has been real nice on the base paths this season. That's where he's really been most productive for the Blues, with his smart base running and his nice wheels. So Pintard gets in the grill of Zach Brown as he stares down the Blues dugout and idles on the mound. The Bill Pintard Classic, trying to ice the hitters for the Blues offense. And he struts back into the dugout, and now it's Cooper Witten for the Blues.
Exactly the guy you want up. Arguably the hottest batter in today's lineup, maybe outside of Braden Jeffries. Just slugging the ball like crazy all around different parts of the ballpark. He had that triple that was to right center field. His home run yesterday was pulled down the left field line. He's just spraying it everywhere.
Witten slugging .720 in 25 at bats for the Blues as he looks at that fastball for strike 1. More triples than any other extra base hits. 3 compared to his 1 double and 1 home run. Standing upright in the right-handed batter's box as Jariah Lewis shuffles at second base. Witten looks at the curveball in for a strike. Cotton candy skies at Sinsheimer. A warm evening in San Luis Obispo. Underneath the lights at Sinsheimer. Deep sigh from Brown as he checks second base. Now strides and shoots on the 0-2, and the ball gets away from Taman. Wild pitch from Brown, and a free 90 for Jariah Lewis. The tying run 90 feet away for the Blues.
The Blues will take that. Makes the job of both Jariah and Cooper Witten a little bit easier. We know Cooper has the speed to leg out an infield hit, which would now score Jariah. And we also know he has the pop to find some outfield grass.
Left field gap looking pretty good for Cooper Witten as Rogers favoring the left field line. As the Husky digs back in, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Middle infield playing deep. Rodriguez, the first baseman, playing pretty far off the line. No wind out in center field. Spotless day in the sky as the 1-2 comes in, and it's a fastball taken for strike 3. Clipping the outside corner, Jariah Lewis is stranded on third base. No hits and no errors. We'll head into the 8th inning, 5-4 Santa Barbara. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the Slow Blue Streaming Network. Logan Groff's day is finally done. Marco Cipolla in to replace him in the 8th inning. The Bulldog from Fresno State went 7 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks to his 8 strikeouts. Real solid outing from Groff.
Very solid outing indeed, especially those middle 5 innings where he gave up no hits and just 1 base runner. If you can clean it up on the front and back end a little bit, it'd be an incredible outing.
Cipolla's first offering skips in front of home plate and hits the backstop. 1 ball, no strikes to Jonas Sebring, who's 0 for 2 on the day. 2 pop-outs to right field and a walk back in the first. He came around to score there. And the second pitch fastball misses up at his eyes. 2 balls and no strikes to Sebring. Cipolla this season, this is his 5th appearance. In 10 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. 8 walks and his 11 strikeouts. As there's 3 straight to Jonas Sebring. A 4.35 earned run average, 1.64 whip. From the windup, Sebring hits it off the hands. Looks like it's playable behind home plate, and Nico Button grabs it with his mask in his hand, and Sebring is retired for the 3rd time today.
A little bit of a bailout there for Cipolla, down 3-0, hacking, and he gets a pop-up in foul territory. Good job by Button to rip off the mask, locate the ball, get under it, and squeeze it for the first out.
So with 1 gone, it's Will Rogers, left fielder from Michigan, also hitless today. Strikeout swinging, liner back to Groff in the 3rd, and a fly ball to right field. Here's the first pitch from Cipolla, down the middle of the plate, and a huge hack from Rogers, swinging and missing for strike 1. He surveys his black barrel and digs into the back of the right-handed batter's box. Middle infield, far apart, wide open gap up the middle as he hits this one to left field. Taking a few chops to his left is Witten and grabs it for the 2nd out of the inning.
Cipolla making pretty quick work. 2 outs on 6 pitches on the 2 and 3 batters in this Foresters lineup. Looking to get out with no damage, let those bats get back up there, especially 3, 4, 5.
Now it's Jack Holman, the DH, who's also hitless today. Batting left-handed, he grounded to second, popped out to the catcher and Button, and struck out swinging. He's the recipient of strike 1. Near the top of the 8th, Blues trailing the Foresters 5-4 on Firework Night, July 3rd, as that fastball misses inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Make sure you stay tuned after the game today. Nate and I will do a little 5-minute breakdown of the game, and then fireworks will start about 10 or 15 minutes after that.
Breaking pitch inside, just outside of the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, absolutely. Stay tuned for that. We'll turn the music on for you. It's like you're at the stadium.
And if you stuck around to see the last one, this one's going to be bigger and better than that.
2-1, half swings. He didn't go around. 3 balls and 1 strike to Jack Holman. Entering this game, a 500 hitter. 16 knocks in his 32 at-bats for the Sturs. 3-1. Fastball missing outside. Button tried to frame it, but that's ball 4 to Holman. First time he's reached base safely today.
Got to try to not give up free 90s if you're Cipolla. Want to just work through these batters as quickly as you can and get the bats back up there, as we have a pinch runner, and it's Drew Markle.
Drew Markle, the Rebel from Ole Miss, who played down in Mississippi for the first time this past season, entering his sophomore year, pinch running for Jack Holman. He represents some more cushion for these Foresters in the 8th inning.
And with a dangerous hitter up, manager Bill Pinter just trying to get a little bit of extra speed out there. I would not be surprised to see Markle take off for second. and try to get an extra 90.
He's got a pretty big lead over at first as Souza looks at the first offering low. 1 ball, no strikes. Souza today 1 for 2, a 2-run shot in the first. He went the opposite way over the head of Cooper Witten. A walk back in the 4th and a strikeout looking in the 6th.
These are two guys that are not easy to steal on. Cipolla works very fast load time to get to the plate, and Button has a cannon behind the plate.
The Independence, Minnesota local stares down Nico Button as he comes set, shrugs his shoulders, and picks over to first. And Drew Markle dives back safely.
There's a new pitcher on the mound for the Blues, number 19, Marco Cipolla.
Waiting on deck, it's TJ Pompey. Texas Tech Red Raider has a hit tonight. As Cipolla nods, now brings it home, and it's a fastball hitting the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's where Cipolla loves to work, especially to the lefties. He likes to just pound the outer part of the zone, especially with his fastball having a good amount of arm side run to it. Just tails away from those left-handed hitters.
Throw back to first, not in time to get Markle again. Still 1-1 to Souza. Lavender and baby blue hues on the Central Coast as the sun has finally set here at Sinsheimer. Here's the 1-1, and it's a fastball in there for strike 2.
Good pitch to get ahead by Cipolla. Just looking to retire these Forster hitters. You want to get the lumber back up there for the Blues.
Trying to nip it in the bud here. On the 1-2 offering, Markle takes off, and Souza goes down swinging. Second strikeout of the day for Nolan Souza, and the first for Marco Cipolla. We'll head to the home half of the 8th. 5-4 Forsters. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the Slow Boost Streaming Network. Casey Borba, Nico Button, and Brendan Comerford due up to face Zach Brown, the Buckeye from Ohio State, heading back out there for his 4th inning of work. And Borba trying to right the ship here after a 0 for 16 after starting off pretty hot in his career with the Blues. First pitch to him is a fastball that breaks his bat. It rolls down the third base line and foul. That is identical to the broken bat base hit we saw from TJ Pompey. The break happened in the exact same spot, just over the hands of Borba.
Very weird how similar those two broken bats were. Both right around the hands, just sawed off and shot right towards the shortstop.
He gets a new stick from his teammate Brendan Comerford, who's awaiting in the hole, batting 6th tonight for the Blues. As Borba takes his time getting back into the box, holding his bat by the barrel. scanning it and digging back in after the firewood from the Texas Longhorn. Middle infield playing far apart with Rodriguez far off the line at first, and he swings and misses at that curveball for strike 2. Borba has already struck out swinging today and grounded out to the shortstop Pompey twice. One of those groundouts did bring in a run, and Jariah Lewis. Here's the 0-2 to Casey. It's a slider sweeping across the plate. He spits it in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Good spit by Borba on the 0-2 slider. It was down below his knees and a little bit outside.
Brown comes set at the belt. Now strides and shoots on the 1-2. Borba holds up his swing, and they'll call it for strike 3. Very delayed call from the home plate umpire as Casey Borba goes down looking.
And Borba had something to say to him as well. I don't think he was a fan of the very late strike 3 call from the home plate umpire.
The past 8 batters have been retired via a strikeout. As Nico Button digs in, the left-handed hitting catcher from Berkeley, and a changeup that gets out of the way. 1 ball, no strikes. Button is 1 for 3 on the evening, a single in the 4th. He scored on the pass ball. That's the first run of the game for the Blues. He chops this one down the first base line, and that's foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Also unassisted put out from the first baseman to end the inning in the 5th, where the Blues collected those 3 runs to take the lead. And he also lined out to the shortstop Pompey back in the 2nd. Middle of the field now wide open for Button as he rolls out of the way of that fastball inside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Very odd looking defensive alignment for these Foresters. You have the shortstop playing in the 5-5 hole against the lefty.
Button taps this one right off the catcher Taman. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brendan Comerford, the right-handed hitting infielder, awaits on deck. He just surrendered one of his spare bats to Casey Borba on his strikeout looking to begin this inning. Here's the 2-2, and Button swings and hits this hard on the ground right side, and Rodriguez can't come up with it. He thought he had it as Rodriguez took 2 extra steps towards the bag, thinking he had the ball. And Nico Button reaches safely on the error by the first baseman.
The Blues will take it. It's a base runner. It's something to get going here for the bottom part of this order. It's just looking to at least get 1, maybe even 2, and take the lead in the bottom of the 8th.
Second time Button has reached base safely today, and now it's Brendan Comerford. He wants to get one of his signature towering doubles out to left field as Rene Regalado gives the signs to Comerford and the runner on first, Nico Button. Fans in the front row wanting to start the wave.
The wave crashed and died about halfway through the stands.
Ankle biters at Sinsheimer as that sweeper just misses outside to Comerford. 1 ball, no strikes.
That would be maybe one of the most spectacular things we've seen from a crowd. If the whole grandstands can do the wave, I'd be pretty shocked.
We're getting pretty close on this round right here as a throw back to first is not in time. And now the public address announcer trying to get involved. This has got to be the piece that makes it a full wave here. It's got to be.
Our PA guy announced it, and it's going. We got it.
Yeah, that works.
And they're sending it back.
Serviceable wave here. As Comerford swings and misses at that 1-0 pitch for strike 1.
The only wave I've seen better than that are the ones at Avila Beach about 20 minutes from here.
Went to pick off to first, and he dropped the ball. Home plate umpire calls time. And, yeah, that will be a balk.
That is huge for the Blues. It's a free 90 on the balk. Puts Button in scoring position. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, you can't just drop the ball off the mound. The umpires kind of all like looked at each other, pointed at each other, and they were like, yeah, he gets second base.
Very delayed call once again. Here's the 1-1 to Comerford. Runner at second, and he chops it on the ground left side. Scooping it is Patterson. Retreating back towards the bag is Button, and he beats out the throw. Good hustle from Brendan Comerford, showing off those wheels. Runners on first and second now. And it looks like a pinch hitter in for Gio Blanchette, who was 1 for 3 on the day. Looks like it's Max Lane. He leans on his maple bat, addressing his presence to the home plate umpire.
Lane, someone with a little bit of pop. Not saying that Blanchette doesn't have that. But his last game with the Blues on Saturday the 29th, 0 for 3, with a walk. His game before that on the 23rd, he was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, 2 base hits.
Lane this season batting an even 200 average, 5 hits in his 25 at-bats. As the throw back to second is not in time, Souza crashed towards the bag, but not before Nico Button could get there head first. Go-ahead runner at first base in Brendan Comerford. And Lane shoots this one down the first base line, but foul. No balls and 1 strike.
Lane coming off the bench, looking to be productive for his team.
4 runs batted in on the season for the kid from Harvard. He has a double and a triple. That triple was against Santa Barbara down at their place at Eddie Matthews Field. Scorched over the center fielder's head.
There's a pinch runner at second base as well.
0-1 is hit on the ground, left side, that's through for a base hit. Rounding third and coming in to score. Here comes the throw. Not in time.
The pinch runner, Sam Ardois, shows off the wheels as he comes around to score on the RBI pinch hit, base hit from Max Lane.
Back-to-back knocks for the Blues, and they tie this one up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Real nice swing from Lane. And look, that is not easy to do. You're sitting cold on the bench all day. You haven't swung a bat in 3 hours. And you roll out and you face the right-hander from Ohio State. And you shoot it through the 5-5 hole. Real nice job from Max Lane. So now Jared Medham with a runner at second base, swings and misses at that changeup for strike 1.
Very difficult to do indeed, but a really good piece of hitting from Lane. Brings in an RBI knock and ties this ball game up.
0-1 missing way outside on that slider. 1 ball and 1 strike to Medham. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Had a single back in the third. He was stranded at third. Grounded out to Pompey at short and struck out swinging in the 6th. He leans back in his stance, now crouches over the plate on the 1-1. Peeking back at second is Brown. Now he kicks and deals, and the slider gets away from Taman. An extra 90 each for the runners on base. Comerford moves up to third, and Lane up at second.
Huge 90 feet for the Blues. Now Medham, with 2 runners in scoring position, has a chance to really do some damage and have a huge impact in this game in the late innings.
So with Medham up right now with 1 gone and the infield playing in, there's a pinch hitter on deck for Jake Hicksonbaugh. It's none other than E.J. Royal, the hits and RBI leader on the Blues.
Definitely a guy you want up in the situation.
Medham chops this one up the middle, and it gets through for a base hit. The St. Mary's Gale takes the lead for the Blues on the RBI single off the glove of Pompey. 6-5 Blues.
was not hit all that hard, but was not needed to be, as it just got over the head of the pitcher. A really good diving effort from Pompey up the middle, but the Blues take the lead.
Timely hitting for San Luis Obispo, and it's only going to get worse for the Foresters here as E.J. Royal, the team leader in hits and RBIs and extra bases, digs in for Jake Hicksonbaugh. His day is done after 3 strikeouts, and Bill Pinter going to try to ice the right-hander here.
He has a righty getting loose. He may make a move at some point. It sounds, I don't know, but it would be very Bill Pinter to ask to go out there, talk to his pitcher. Once the umpire gets out here, then make the move over just to ice EJ for as long as he possibly can.
Well, and it's not like EJ has momentum. He's coming off the bench, so how much could you really ice the pinch hitter?
Well, he just knows how good of a hitter EJ Royal is and wants to just let the anticipation sit within him. He's going to use this entire mound visit, going to make the umpire come out there and almost push him back into the dugout.
He lurks beyond the huddle. He doesn't seem to budge. He's trying to insert himself in it now. That's the home plate umpire. They slowly disperse as Medham jogs back towards first base. Max Lane is at third. That's some serious speed. A cushion run for the Blues, 90 feet away for E.J. Royal.
E.J. Royal, not only is he a great hitter, he's a very smart hitter. He knows that all he needs to do is lift something in the air and get it out into the outfield to let Lane score. A very situational spot for the senior from Utah Tech.
And oh no, Ryan, he's slumping. He's under 400 with batting average on the season. He's only batting .393.
All right, he's washed.
Throwback to first is not in time to get Jarrett. He's been living north of 400 all year with his 33 hits, 6 doubles, 2 triples, a home run, and 21 runs batted in.
It's actually the first time all season he's dropped under that 400 average mark. His first game as a Blue, he went 2 for 5. His second game, he went 3 for 5. So he started out at 500 after 10 at-bats, and he hasn't dropped under 400 since.
Rodriguez first, and Patterson plays up on the infield grass as Royal gets this bunt down. A run comes in to score, and no one's at first base. Nice bunt from E.J. Royal to give the Blues.
A beautiful bunt, and coming off the bench, Bill Pinter trying to ice him over there. He said, I'm not going to swing the bat. I'm just going to lay down the best bunt of the year for the SLO Blues and get on base while bringing in a run. A 3-run bottom half of the 8th inning for the Blues, and it's not over yet.
No chance. They still got 2 more outs to play with. 4 hits in a row for the Blues, and the leadoff man, Braden Jeffries, stepping up to the plate. Nice moves from manager Dean Traynor, by the way. Coming in to pinch hit Max Lane for Gio Blanchette and E.J. Royal for Hicksonbaugh. Both of those batters got hits and brought across a run.
Very good moves. We see it quite often for Dean Traynor where this team has so much talent, and sometimes you just throw guys in there for different matchups that you like. He does it today, and it pays off big time.
First pitch to Jeffries, misses outside, 1 ball, no strikes. And a right-hander is getting loose in the Blues bullpen. It's Noah Ferguson from Oregon State University, former Lute from Pacific Lutheran. Here's the 1-0 as Patterson plays in. And picking back towards second base, in there safely is Jared Medham.
He's dancing with him out there. Just sliding left and right, keeping both the pitcher and the shortstop who's holding him on their toes.
Rodriguez, the first baseman, plays back as the 1-0 is taken for a strike. Fastball in the zone to Braden Jeffries, who's looking for his first hit of the night. I'm sure he would love to keep the parade going on in the 8th. Open stance in the left-handed batter's box on the 1-1. He dodges from that fastball, 2 balls and 1 strike. Zach Brown trying to work out of this jam. And a 3-run inning for the Blues, where they now have a 2-run lead over the Foresters. 2-1 pitch. Jeffries holds up his swing. 3 balls and 1 strike. E.J. Royal at first base. Jared Medham at second. Blues up by 2 over Santa Barbara. As the sky begins to darken and the lights become brighter, the 3-1 is dribbled on the ground over to second for 1. Medham tried to take off for home. He gets caught slipping, and they tag him out for the 3rd out of the inning. So some base running miscues as Medham lost his footing, and the side is retired, but the Blues take the lead over Santa Barbara 7-5. We'll head into the 9th inning, where they'll try to slam the door on the Sturs. Stay with us. For Ryan Giacomini, I'm Nate Mills on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Listening to some sweet Caroline here at Sinsheimer Stadium. The fans are getting into it. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but that's 2,000 strong at Sinsheimer Stadium. Everyone feeling good after the Blues take the lead over the Santa Barbara Foresters 7-5 in a 3-run inning. A pinch hit RBI single from Max Lane and a pinch hit RBI bunt single for E.J. Royal helped fuel the drive that ended in a 6-4-5 double play. So now Blues looking to close things out with a new pitcher on the mound. Noah Ferguson in to replace Marco Cipolla, who just went 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 1 walk to his 1 strikeout. So he'll face the bottom half of the order in TJ Pompey, Johnny Rodriguez, and Ryan Taman, trying to keep this game at bay. The flamethrower from Oregon State with a fastball in there for strike 1. Comes to set in the stretch. Middle infield playing far apart. Witten hugging the line out and left. As Pompey checks his swing, he went around as it gets underneath the legs of Button. No balls and 2 strikes to the shortstop batting 6th.
That's actually a different catcher in the game for the Blues. It's Parker Goff. Nico Button was pinch ran for in the bottom half of the 8th. So Goff out there to catch this hopeful last half inning.
Medham and Comerford pinching in the 5-5 hole. as Pompey awaits the 0-2 offering from Ferguson. Closed in his stance, he kicks and deals, and it's a slider just missing outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 hit on the day for TJ Pompey, a single back in the 7th. He came around to score there. A strikeout swinging in the 4th and a walk in the 1st. He went 1st to 3rd on an errant throw from the starting pitcher Logan Groff. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Blues 2 outs away from putting a button on this one. And Pompey goes down first on the strikeout.
Take another look at this incredible pitch from Noah Ferguson to strike out the first batter he faces, Bayou.
Johnny Rodriguez, he's got a couple of Ks this evening of his own. The first baseman batting left-handed from Long Beach State. 2 strikeouts and a ground ball to Medham at shortstop.
Some defensive replacements as well after the pinch hitter. I'll let you know right after this pitch.
Ferguson comes home on the first offering, and it's in there for strike 1.
Seeing something a little new, E.J. Royal is in right field. Jariah Lewis will stay in center. And behind the plate is now Parker Goff rather than Nico Button. So seeing E.J. Royal out in right for the first time all summer.
Different angle for the Utah Tech Trailblazer as the 0-1 is hit right to him off the end of the bat. Has to take a few steps in, and he grabs it for the second out of the inning. Some firewood for Noah Ferguson. They are 1 away to watching some fireworks.
They are indeed, and doesn't matter where he's playing in the outfield. E.J. Royal knows how to read a fly ball. Does a good job there out and right. Kind of surprised, actually. He didn't go to center, and Jariah moved to right. Not that either of them are incapable of playing the positions they're in, but just more comfortability in center for EJ and right for Jariah.
Yeah, Lewis has started games in right field. EJ hasn't seen anything else but center this entire season, as the first offering to Ryan Taman is taken down the middle, a slider for a strike. The former Blue is 0 for 3 on the day, a fly ball to right, strikeout swinging, and a pop out to the shortstop Medham. Ferguson with a gentle sigh, and here comes another slider in there for strike 2.
1 strike away from a little comeback in this ball game, getting a win on the 4th of July night as 2,200 faithful get loud.
Ferguson comes set from the stretch, kicks and deals, and it misses low in the dirt. Good stop from Goff behind the plate.
Still just 1 strike away from winning this game and bringing the season series with the Sturs to 3-2 in the Sturs' favor.
Ferguson looking to close off the comeback victory. The 1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Blues come all the way from behind against the Foresters and tab the W on firework night.
Really good job by Ferguson. Come in, get the save. Another pitch right by a batter, and this one is Taman. The Blues get the win on a beautiful night here in San Luis Obispo. We got fireworks in 15, 20 minutes.
Everyone's amped. A joyful high five lined over the mound. Everyone hopping and skipping, congratulating all the teammates. And man, that one just got to feel so good for the Blues after dropping their last 2 games, especially last night in their huge marginal loss against the OC Riptide of 13-4L. They come from behind and beat the Foresters 7-5. They improved to 18-10 on the season. They're now 14-7 at home, and they're going to take sole possession of second place in the CCL North. The Sonoma Stompers and the Menlo Park Legends still active right now. The Stompers up 8-0 over the Legends, so still TBD, but still a pretty high probability as the boys tip their caps toward the crowds, and the show has only just begun.
Indeed it has. Fireworks, you could see them out in center field, moving them onto the field, getting them ready. All right, let's talk about Logan Groff. He is somebody who has been very consistent for the Blues. He gave up 5 runs today, but it's not like he was giving up runs consistently. He had a really good 5-inning stretch and he threw 7 solid innings, 98 pitches, 8 strikeouts. A really good outing from Logan Groff. What did you notice from him today?
I noticed that he did a really good job at bouncing back from that first inning. We talked about yesterday's starter and Eddie Tierney making his first start coming out of the bullpen. Groff is also a bullpen guy from Fresno State and from Cypress College down in Southern California. He's filled in that starter role for the Blues this season, and he's taken absolute advantage of it. Typically, when you see an inning like that where it just gets away with you with the walks and the 2-run home run from Souza, it kind of just feels like you're drowning. And I think Groff did a nice job of being headstrong and just going back to what he knows, mixing it in with that fastball and the slider. He got a little cute with that changeup, and he got some bad swings there. So by the end of the night, he went from working just one pitch in the first inning and getting shelled to then mixing in all 3 and looking like his prime self.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think his best pitch tonight, although his least used, was that changeup. He threw it in timely situations. These hitters hadn't seen it that much, and it just paid off really big for him. The biggest thing I noticed in this ball game, though, and it's just looking at the scoreboard, 1 error. The Blues have struggled with errors, and the only error came back in the first inning, and it didn't harm the Blues. It was an error on a pickoff move, and that runner was later stranded on third base. That is a huge difference in this ball game. If you have another error tied in somewhere in the game, that could result in a few more runs for the Foresters.
The pitching and the errors, 2 things that have plagued the Blues all summer. Another recent development with their offense, at least, has been that mid-game lull. And I think that's what kept the Blue in the game. Getting those 2 runs on the 2 RBI triple from Cooper Witten gave them a life exactly halfway through this ball game. And then they were able to supply that power back again in the 8th. You can't help but think, would they have that life without that 5th inning?
Absolutely. You're 100% right. Very good 5th inning, very dominant game for the Blues on both sides of the ball. Let's pick a player of the game today. I have 2 people in mind, and I think I'm going to tie them together, but I'll let you go first.
Okay, I'm thinking about Cooper Witten because he came through at a time where guys were either falling asleep or starting to accept defeat against the Foresters. He came up and just stuck to what he knows has been working for him these past few games. He put a real nice swing on the ball and just drove it into left center gap, and he stretched it into a triple again, driving in 2 runs. That is what fueled the fire for the Blues. I think I have an idea of who the other player of the game is. I'll let you say who it is.
I'm going to combine the 2 players. I don't think you have this in your mind.
Okay.
Here. I'm going to combine the pinch hitters in the 8th inning, E.J. Royal and Max Lane.
Yeah.
Coming off the bench, not swinging a bat for multiple hours, getting the job done for the Blues, both getting their own base hits. But who are you thinking I was going to say?
I was thinking you were going to say Logan Groff.
Yeah, he had an amazing outing. Also, just to keep going with the pitching, Cipolla came in, shoved for an inning.
Yep.
Ferguson did the exact same. Overall, a great game on both sides of the ball for the Blues.
Happy night here in San Luis Obispo. They get the comeback win, and now they get to celebrate America a day early on July 3rd in the biggest fireworks show of the year. We only have 1 more after that in the final weekend of the season. Folks, be sure to stake around on the SLO Blues streaming network. Ryan and I will be showing you the fireworks with music included. The lights will be turning off in about 5 or 10 minutes here, so just stay tuned to watch some fireworks here at Sinsheimer Stadium. Thank you so much for watching Ryan and I on the SLO Blues streaming network. We hope you have a great night and a safe 4th of July.
There's going to be a fireworks show in about 5 minutes, but if you look out over the center field fence, you will see Vandenberg trying to outdo us. 5 minutes exactly before our show starts. You're good. I actually think our fireworks going to be a lot better than Vandenberg's. That one's kind of boring. It's just going up. We have about 4 minutes now, and kids, you want to find your folks. Find the grown-ups that you came with, and try to stay close to them. It's going to get really dark. We don't want anybody to get hurt running around when it gets dark. We have about 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes before the lights go out and it's completely dark. Please find your children. Please find your grown-ups. Coming up on 1 minute. We are 1 minute away. 1 minute away. Please take your seats. Please find your children. Find your adults. "30 seconds. We are 30 seconds away. I'll give you a 10-second countdown. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lights out.